Hi everyone, hope everyone is really well and welcome to my stream. I had to rebuild everything on my computer yet again, so yeah, my audio might be all over the place, so if it is, please let me know and I will try my hardest to fix it for you guys. But I have managed to get my save back, so not all was lost. So we are exactly where we left off, just about to head over to Ireland. To continue the rest of the game. I thought I was further in than this. It's according to the graphics before, it said that I was roughly 35% of the way through. So I kind of thought I was further along. But hey, you know. Hopefully all of my alerts and everything else will work in stream as well. Unfortunately, a lot of it you can't test until you actually kind of get in and live. So yeah, actually I might try and just test one of them works now. Hey Anthony, how are you doing? Hope you're well, my friend. Unfortunately your shout out didn't work either, did it? That's something I've rebuilt as well, but hey, it's all part of the fun. Let's see if that one works this time. Well, at least Anthony, it does look at least that the actual writing works. So it has actually got your information on. So that part works. Just the sort of auto shout doesn't work. But you'll have to let me know if the audio is okay, because I have had to kind of change a lot of stuff since the last stream on Monday. So yeah, you have been aware of all the issues I've been going through, so you're probably a bit more aware of all the work I've had to do the last 2.5 days since the end of the last stream. But yeah, hopefully things will work. I have no idea if my sound alerts work very well either. Audio sounds fine, but I do have 5 streams open at the moment. You love too many people, and you love too many people. I appreciate you dropping in. Look, we're off to Ireland. So I might get a bit bright in here because I'm just going to turn on my lamps, because I just realised I haven't actually put my lamps on.
I passed the castle on the way into Lochmarn. The castle where Peagram's excavation was located.
Okay. So hopefully the audio still sounds okay. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to talk to this wonderful kid outside the front.
Hi there.
What?
What's your name, kid?
Who are you calling kid? Who the hell are you?
I was told last stream that I had to be honest, so I'm going to stick. Not say I'm Rosso. I'm going to say
I'm George Stobart, and I'm with the good guys.
You're a head case,
yeah, and
mister.
a lot of people do stream in the evenings in the UK, don't they? So we're all kind of
Cut the crap
going
and
over
tell
one
me your
another.
name.
Liam McGuire.
What are you doing hanging around the bar, McGuire?
I'm on the run from me dad.
Why? Did you do something bad?
I ain't done nothing, boss.
You can tell me, kid. Is it your dad?
Oh, sir. He drinks every last penny down his evil throat. And there's me poor old mother, bedridden and dying of presumption. I tried to buy her medicine. Chopped firewood for
Do you reckon this is
Father
a fake
Mahoney.
sub story?
Fingers bled. The old skinflint cheated me too. But I took the pennies he gave me back home. Look, Ma, says I. See what your darling son has earned with his own sweat and blood. When suddenly, me dad appears and grabs the loot. I'm off to Dublin, heavy drinking.
Did his jacket just sort of change colour?
That's why I run away.
On the actual kind of
Something in the
gameplay,
grin
it
on
looked like his
face
jacket
told me he wasn't being
kind of sort of
strictly truthful.
went lighter all of a
Compared
sudden.
to him,
Could just be a trick of my
Huckleberry
eyes.
Finn was a candidate for Altar Boy of the Year.
Okay, we'll ask some questions, see if we can get anything. Let's ask about Merlin.
Have you ever seen this man before?
What a slimy character. No, I never seed him.
Okay, so that's something.
Have you seen a guy
He's
dressed
not going
as
to
a
say he's seen
clown?
someone as a
Here in
clown.
Lochmarn, they all dress like clowns.
The man I'm looking for is a dangerous psychotic.
Jesus. It's just like that film I saw. There's this clown.
Oh, I just realised I haven't done that.
And he's after this kid.
Rookie
He saw
mistake.
him kill a guy. He tries to warn the sheriff. Only no one believes him. Then, while he's in the tub, The clown
No one said
cuts him
anything
up
to me.
with a chainsaw.
Scuff,
My God.
scuff stream, scuff
That
stream.
doesn't sound suitable for a kid like you.
Who are you calling a kid? I'm 25.
Yeah, right. You're not a day over 14.
Oh no, it's 25 that I am. Married with a car and 3 kids. 10 kids if you count the wives.
What can you tell me about the castle, McGuire?
What do you want to know?
Well, can I get inside?
No, it's locked up.
Does anyone live there?
No. Only, what do you want to know? Oh, nothing.
You know something about the castle you're not telling me, don't you?
No,
What is it you're covering up? Is it something you're scared of?
I ain't scared of nothing.
I'll
Okay,
give
let's
you
press the issue on that
last
one.
chance to tell me about the castle.
Oh, yeah? And what if I don't?
Then I'm taking you back to school.
Oh, there's a ghost. It's called the Phantom of Loch Man.
Okay.
You're not telling me you believe in ghosts, are you?
Mister, I seen it with me very own eyes. Last Tuesday night, I went up to see what that dig was about. I just reached the top of the wall when I hears this awful noise.
What sort
This is not
of
going to be a
noise?
ghost, to be something else.
Horrible snuffling and snorting, like O'Brien's pig, only worst. It was coming from inside the castle.
Are we all intrigued and equally scared?
Did you find out what was making the noise in the castle?
No fear. I just sat there on the wall like Humpty Dumpty. The moon was cracked and greasy like an old dinner plate. The yard was full of shadows. I could have been hiding anything. I would have gone home, but my legs had lost their stuffing.
Okay. I don't know what we're going to get from keep asking you about the ghost, but
Did you get to see
I think
the
if we
ghost?
don't ask, we're going
Indeed
to
I
miss
did.
something useful.
And a fearsome sight it is too. I sat on my arse, waited while the moon went down. Then out it comes from the shadows, all grey and tattered and hunched over like an old bent willow. Then I hears this spluttering and splashing and horrible laughter in the dark. I was so scared. Why, I fell off the bloody wall.
I'm sure there's
I
a
just- I
rational
love the Irish,
explanation for what
really
you
do.
saw at the castle.
There is. The bloody place is haunted.
Right, okay, so we've established everything there. This be Plantar?
Do you know a man called
Oh,
Pegram?
Pegram.
Can you describe him like on the telly in the cop shows?
He's an English archaeologist.
I know the man you mean if he's the one.
So you might know him
Can
if
you
I
tell
tell
me where
you
I'd
more
find
about him.
Pegram?
No, I can't because he's not here now, but if I sees him, I'll ask him.
Do you know what Pegram
Okay.
was doing in the castle?
Digging for buried treasure? Jewels and gold and skeletons, like in the films.
Okay, so far he's given me absolutely nothing useful, but I
Do you
I
recognize
just
this matchbook,
feel there's
McGuire?
going to be something
no,
I
sir,
need from
I've
him.
never seen it before in my life.
Yeah, I've got this sneaking suspicion that
Ever
he's
heard
going
of
to have
Thomas Merlin
something
or the
useful.
Gruber Electronics Corporation?
No?
Mm.
Have you ever seen anyone wearing
Really not
one of
learning
these?
much.
Sure. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That belongs to the killer clown you're looking for.
That's right.
Can I have it?
Sorry.
No.
I'm keeping this as evidence.
You should have told the cops.
I did. They weren't interested.
You should run tests on that, mister. You could identify the murderer with a sample of his snot.
Yuck. I don't think
Even
so.
if that was actually true, I don't think I'd want to do it.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
Okay, I don't think the other two clues are going to give me
See you
anything,
later, kid.
so I'll leave
Okay,
them for now.
mister.
Well, I can do something with this potentially. I just saw the iron, the T-bar, and thought to myself,
I tugged at the
that's
trapdoor,
something I might be able to use
but it
on
was
here.
locked from the inside.
Okay, so I can't do anything now. Oh, I guess we're going to have to go to the bar. He doesn't look at all shifty. Okay, let's see what we can do. This guy, he looks like he's waiting for somebody, doesn't he? He's such big eyes.
It was a beer-stained piece of toweling.
which I decided to pick up.
My name's George.
Pleased to meet you, mister. My name's Fitzgerald.
Okay,
What can you tell me about the castle?
back through all the
There's
questions
nothing
again.
there. Just an old ruin.
How old?
I really couldn't tell you.
Have you ever explored the castle yourself?
I'm not sure we're
I
going to learn
used
much.
to play there sometimes, when I was a kid. Then one of the little ones fell off the wall and broke his head and died. We didn't go there anymore.
You haven't been up there recently?
No.
Do you
Don't know
know
much
Professor
about Pegram, is he?
He's the archaeologist.
Oh, okay, maybe
Isn't he?
I'm wrong.
That's right. Did you work at Professor Pegram's dig?
What gave you that idea?
He
Can I
seems
get you another
he
drink?
does seem
Oh.
defensive.
No, thank you. I shouldn't be drinking at all. I'm on tablets for my nerves. More than a pint and I'll pass out.
He does seem nervous.
Check out this pass.
Thomas Merlin? No, never heard of him.
That could be me. I could be telling you this is who
Does
I
this
am.
matchbook mean anything to you?
No.
Look, the guy over here, spreading around COVID like you wouldn't believe.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I'm sure I don't know him.
I'm getting so little from
What did
anybody.
this red nose suggest to you?
Blood.
Why's that?
I used to bleed a lot when I was a kid. Every time there was a playground scrap, I'd end up with a bloody nose. I wouldn't have minded, but I wasn't even involved in the scraps.
What does this tissue suggest to you?
Nothing.
I don't think it'd be
Ever
risky
seen
to
this
show him
towel
this.
before?
Doesn't it belong on the bar?
Very observant, Fitzgerald. What do you think this tool is used for?
Or something to do with horses?
Wrong. It's for opening manhole covers.
What would you?
Oh, really?
What would you use
Well,
that
you learn
on?
something
How
every
would you
day.
use that on a horse? I'm quite concerned at how you'd use that on a horse.
See you later.
Okay, so he was no use. I'm just trying to think who else to. Oh, hi Nick, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Yeah, talk to him. Click the mouse a million times before he actually moves.
Top of the morning to you.
Oh,
I
don't,
beg your
George.
pardon.
Well,
Don't
that's
do
what
that.
you Irish say, isn't it?
Don't do that.
Do you want something? Or are you just flaunting your xenophobia?
Well, I was trying to be sociable.
Is it a room you're after?
Yeah, so yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Do you have a vacancy?
No.
I could. If you don't mind waiting until the last guest checks out.
No problem. When will that be?
When the Undertaker comes to collect him.
Okay. So it's dead man's shoes in this place.
Have you served any, clowns recently?
No. You're the first today.
Bum bum. Tsh. Don't forget to tip your waitress.
Do you know a man called Pegram?
Indeed I do. Are you a friend of his?
Oh, hi Jess. Thanks for dropping
Oh
in.
no. I'm
And
just
don't
trying
worry
to
about it.
track him
I
down.
appreciate you
Me too.
dropping by at
That
all.
son of a bitch should be locked away.
In
Did
fact,
Pegram stay
if
here?
you're still in
Yes,
chat, drop
he
yourself
did
a shout
6
out, Jess.
nights plus breakfast.
I
I'll
believe
try a
you're
glass of
streaming
beer,
tonight, aren't you?
please.
Is this your first pint of real ale?
Well, I guess so.
You're not shouting
What's
yourself out.
real ale,
Okay.
anyhow?
Okay.
Beer that's brewed
Yeah,
from
about
natural
right about now,
ingredients to traditional methods. It shouldn't be kept under pressure or refrigerated. And finally, it should have a
There we
good
go.
body
I'll do it for you.
and distinctive character.
In other words, it's flat and worn with bits in, and it makes you fall over.
Good drink. I haven't got the lurk thing set up at the moment. That's something I need to add. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, let's ask some questions of this
Do you
dude.
recognize this man?
No, I don't. What do you want with him?
I've got a score to settle.
I don't want any trouble in the bar, mister. If it's a fight you're looking for, see Father Mahoney.
A priest? A man of the cloth?
Sure. And he teaches the boys how to box at the youth club. According to Mahoney, it develops character. Isn't that right, Pat? Didn't he teach you the art of pugilism? Dial.
Sorry, Michael. I was miles away. What did you say?
Never mind.
I've just kind of noticed that his head's the wrong way up. Because that is one mega beard and no hair. But to be fair, with the fact my hair's thinning, it's probably a look I'm going to have to go with in the future.
Do you recognize the name?
I'm
on
wondering
this
if
card?
he might let me,
No. Should I?
because he's an electrician. Will he let me
Nah,
do that?
It was a long
Just
shot.
repair that maybe? No.
Do you recognize this matchbook?
No, sir.
I'm getting
Does this
absolutely
false nose
nowhere.
mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
This guy's still spreading COVID over here.
Does this tissue mean anything to you?
That's disgusting.
Uh-huh. I found it in the sewers.
Well, what's the idea of waving it around in my face? You're worse than old Ron. Put it away, man.
So far, we're doing really well. I mean,
There's something which
I don't know why I'm
interest
showing
you.
him this,
It
but
doesn't.
yeah. So again,
Look, I gotta be going.
nothing from him. Oh man, someone's got to have something useful in here. I have
there,
faith.
old-timer.
What?
Oh, that's commitment to the tash. That is. It spreads all the way around the back of his
Fancy
head.
cold you've got there. As soon as the words left my lips, I regretted them.
Is there such a thing as a cold which isn't nasty? I put the question to Father Mahoney. Father, says I, why were we born to suffer snot?
What did he say?
He said, it's my reward for being out all night like a sinner. Pious prig. Anyway, this is no ordinary cold. 'Tis the hay fever.
Pollinosis?
Thank you. You're not a policeman, are you?
Excuse me?
Police? No. I'd know it if you were.
Okay. So, I'll start the other side this
What's
time.
that you're making?
It's a necklace, me bucko.
Oh, sure. Made out of steel wire?
That's right. A necklace for my pretty woman.
Oh, it's going to be a sheep
when
or something.
my little lover feels it round her slender neck, she'll be mine. All mine.
Yeah, I'm still thinking we're thinking an animal here.
That's the scrawny fellow who was poking around at the castle, isn't it? No, I don't know him.
Can you tell me how to get into the castle?
Don't even think about it, me bucko. Lochbarn
That's
Castle
two people who said it's
is
haunted.
haunted.
That's what the kid outside told me, but I don't believe it.
Then you're a fool.
Ghosts don't bother me. I still want to visit that castle.
You can't. It's not open to the public.
There's no one around to stop me, is there?
That's right. Nothing human, anyhow.
Have
Okay.
you ever seen the ghost?
To be sure. With me very own eyes.
Can you describe the ghost?
It was horrible. A wee stunted beast. Long beak. Straggly, flappy wings.
Are you sure it wasn't a wild animal?
The
A
descriptions
rabbit or a
are
skunk or
fairly
something?
different.
Skunk. In Lochbarn. That'll be the day. No. That was a ghost, to be sure.
I think I know what you saw on the castle wall.
I know what I saw.
I don't think so. It was the kid, McGuire.
What?
He was up on the wall last Tuesday night. He thought you were the Phantom of Lochmar.
Oh.
There we go. So they both thought
Can I
each
buy
other
you a
were
beer?
the
Very
ghosts.
kind, I'm sure. But I don't drink the stuff Leary sells.
What's wrong with it?
I've seen what it can do.
I'm
Do you
interested to see what
recognize the man
it'll
in this
do.
photograph?
I can't tell without me glasses.
What does this red nose mean to you?
Nothing.
Oh, this bit is good. I do like Ireland. I
Take
can't
a
remember
look at
anything
this
about
ID
it though.
card.
I don't know anything about it.
Yep, we're getting about
You
as
could
far
make
as
use of
I
this tissue.
expected.
Never use them. Those things are unhygienic.
What does this matchbook mean to you?
Nothing. Go away and stop bothering me.
I've got to ask questions
Can you
about
identify
everything,
this tool?
and then I can at least feel comfortable. I don't want to ask about the
I'll
beer
see
max.
you
I just
later.
feel like I'm going to get told off for stealing it. I don't think these guys have got anything useful to tell me, but I think if I don't talk to them they're going to have something. So I'm going to have to ask the question.
Hi, my name's Stobart, George Stobart.
Hello there, mister. What can I do for you?
I might
Do
keep
you
it
know
just to
Professor
these questions
Pegram?
for now, though.
Do I know him? Do I know the good professor himself?
No, I don't.
I don't.
I knew that was coming.
I know who he is, but I don't know him to talk to.
Do you know anything about Pegram's excavation?
Only that he didn't have the right tools for the job. What he needed was shovels and a JCB.
Pegram was digging for historical remains, not coal.
Is that a fact? What the hell for?
It's the science of archaeology, Pat. Understanding how people used to live by what they've left behind. One day archaeologists might be digging up our remains.
Imagine that, Mr. O'Brien. I wonder what they'll find.
Well, it won't be arrowheads and beakers. Fast food cartons and flavoured condoms, more likely.
Oh, imagine if that is the case. So in 200 years' time, you know, there's people doing archaeological digs, and they dig up basically McDonald's packets and like.
Did
You know,
anyone from the village
that'd
work
just
at
be
Pegram's
funny.
I tried it myself, but that high
This is
and
how
mighty
we used to
history
live.
man called me incontinent. What a nerve. Hadn't I dug more holes than the rest of them put together?
Although I don't expect McDonald's to disappear
Do you
in
remember
200
seeing
years.
Sean
They'll
Fitzgerald?
probably taken
at
over the
dig?
world by then.
Let me see now. I think me brain box needs a spot of lubrication.
Can I buy you a drink?
You most certainly can.
Give me a drink for my friend here.
Who? Doyle? Has he conned you into buying for him? Shame on you, Patrick.
Same again. Just a point this time, Michael.
1 point of brown coming up.
Do you remember Sean Fitzgerald now?
I can picture the scene as if it was only last week. Come to think of it, it was only last week. Fitzgerald was there all right. Him and a bunch of students. He was speaking with the boss man.
Can you
Okay.
tell me anything about the castle on the hill?
Oh,
So
I
he
don't
might
know
be
much
lying
about
to us
anything.
then.
You should ask Mr. O'Brien here. He just joined up writing. Would you be one of them history fellas yourself?
Probably not. Yeah,
oh
probably
no,
not.
I'm here on vacation.
What's that?
A vacation, Pat. It's what the Americans call a holiday.
Oh, right. In Lochmarn? You come to Lochmarn for a holiday?
Sure, it's a very pretty place.
Where the hell are you from, mister?
California.
I know it. That's where the brooms come from.
Yeah, amongst other things.
Okay, I actually genuinely think
Bye
that
for now.
he's told me something about Fitzgerald here, so I think I need to go back to ask him a question. Oh, it's all gone
Mr.
weird.
Fitzgerald?
I'm now oh, there he goes. He disappeared. I was underneath these two guys. Oh, hi, Si. Oh, thank you. Yeah, good night, mate. Sorry that it's obviously so late for you, but hopefully catch you again soon.
Doyle told me you definitely worked at the dig. He's seen you there.
I don't know why it's
You might as well admit it.
glitching so
I
much.
knew this would happen. I knew I'd get caught.
I need to talk to Professor Pegram, if he's still alive.
What do you mean? Is he in danger?
Yeah, you too, if I'm right.
You're not from the Social Security.
Hell no. What makes you think that?
Well, I was claiming benefit at the same time I was working for Pegram.
I'm not in a position to make judgments, Sean. That's between you
The
and
glitching
your
here is
conscience.
making is
All
annoying
I
me a bit.
want is to talk to Pegram about the gem.
But he's not here.
I know that. But he left that package with you, didn't he? So where did Pegram go?
I don't know. I swear it. He came to see me early this morning. Said he was leaving. He asked me to give this package to a guy called Marquet.
Show me what's in
Okay,
the
getting
package,
somewhere,
Sean.
getting somewhere.
I can't do that.
Why not?
I promised the professor.
So what? You didn't have any qualms about your benefit scam. So where's the harm in taking a peek inside Pegram's package?
You don't
Oh, let's
know
have a look
these
at
people.
Pegram's package,
I
everybody.
can't. I don't dare.
Euphemisms galore.
This is your last chance to show me the package, Fitzgerald. I've been patient with you, but now it's time to kick ass.
But he'll kill me.
Who will?
The man from Paris. Jack Marquet. Pegram told me if I gave him the package unopened, I'd hear no more about it. But if I double-crossed Marquet, I'd be dead.
I'll deal with Jacques Marquet. Give the package to me.
God, you're confident there,
No.
George.
Why should I trust you? I don't know who to trust anymore. I wish I'd never even heard of the Lochmarn Gem.
Yeah, the graphics are glitching badly, but... Ooh, hello. That didn't sound good.
Hey, I just seen a big red...
Get out of here, Maguire. Come back when you're old enough.
What's the lad howling about?
A big red sports car. Sean Fitzgerald's been runned over.
Get out! Noisy little tyke.
Maybe you should send out some medicinal brandy maker.
Oh, yes. And who's going to pay for it?
Not me.
Me too, neither.
Okay, let's go outside and see what's going on outside. Okay, so that's open now.
I was telling the truth about Fitzy, mister.
Okay, calm down. Now tell me what happened.
I was standing here, minding my own business, when I saw this beautiful red sports car coming up over the hill. Would you look at that, says I. And I going over to take a closer look. Next thing, Fitzy comes tearing out of the pub and nearly knocks me on my ass. But the car just flies at him. It was too fast for poor old Fitzy, and hit him an awful wallop. He goes flying up.
Okay, did you guys see that? Something flew off him and went down the grate, I think.
I thought he was a goner. Next thing, the driver hops out, and I couldn't believe my eyes.
It was a fairy.
He was dressed like a bloody pixie.
Pixie. It's a costume killer again. Okay. I'm just going to talk to him a bit. I don't know we'll get any more from him, but...
What?
Did this pixie have a scar on his cheek?
I couldn't see. He was wearing a stupid mask. Are you a special agent?
Sorry to disappoint you, kid, but I'm not. Did Fitzgerald drop anything when he was hit?
I didn't see. It all happened so fast.
Maybe the package fell somewhere out of sight.
Okay, so that's given me a clue to where it's gone.
Okay,
It's
mister.
something most definitely has gone down this grate. Okay, so this electrical box.
I pushed the switch down, but in doing so it snapped off in my hand. I tugged at the trapdoor, but it was locked from the inside.
Just in case it isn't. Okay, so it's definitely locked. Okay, just wonder whether it wasn't locked. It was just. So I don't know what that switch did for me. Yeah, I can't see what that switch has done.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
May I have another beer, please?
Certainly, sir. Same again?
Yeah, please. How is this stuff made?
That's the secret of the master brewer, sir. Each barrel is lovingly manhandled in time-honored fashion, suspended on skillfully tied ropes of the finest hemp, lowered into the cellar, utilizing the forces of original gravity.
Original
like
gravity.
manna from heaven. I'm sorry, but the pump appears to be broken.
I can fix it for you.
I don't think so. This is a job for a professional electrician. Oh, well, at least the glass washer is still working. It's not my dear, is it?
Okay, so I can show him this
It
again.
just so happens I'm an electrician. Check out my credentials.
Well, no. Isn't that marvelous? Ha, here's a house bedeviled with faulty wiring of a wayward nature. Here's you, an electric man, with a little plastic card to prove it. I still want to see what you can do before I let you touch me beer pumps. You can make a start on the glass washer.
Okay, so
And when you finish that, will you take a look at the pumps?
okay, can I actually sort this out?
I used all my knowledge of electrical engineering to examine the plug.
Oh, okay, George, that was needless
I
walking away.
couldn't see anything obviously wrong with the machine. I figured it must be the wiring.
Okay, so do I need to go back outside again? I'm going to predict that I do. And it's going to be something to do with that. The electrical box, wherever it was. Yeah, we keep trying to... I shouldn't keep doing it because it's obviously not going to make any difference. But
It was impossible to return the switch to its original position.
right, so have I got anything I could use? I doubt that would work, but no. Nope.
It was a trap door in the sidewalk.
Just in case there's something to the side I'm missing. Nope. Alright, let's talk back to Maguire again to see if I can get anything from him. So I very much doubt there's anything in the building.
Maguire.
What?
See you later, kid.
Okay, mister.
That's a thought. And this is really pushing it, but no. Okay, I figured as much. But you've got to try these things.
Hi, do you speak English?
Well, no. What if I was to say no? An implication of cognizance shrouded in denial. A pretty poser of a paradox indeed.
I gave him the look I'd perfected when I was 12 and was going to be the greatest hypnotist of all time. It was a killer.
Are you attempting to hypnotize me, or is it the constipation you're suffering?
I was a little out of practice. Did you happen to see a red sports car down on the road?
I caught a glimpse of a flash of red on the hill and heard the racket. Sure, it was an awful noise. A sports car, you say?
A Ferrari, to be exact.
A racing car? And what was it doing
Has
here?
anyone actually said it was a
The
Ferrari?
poor fella must have been lost.
The driver of the Ferrari was involved in an accident.
Is that so?
Yeah, he knocked somebody down outside the bar.
What an idiot! How could a thing like that happen?
He was traveling too fast.
So fast, he ran right under the car?
I mean, the car was traveling too fast.
But you'd have thought the idiot could have heard it coming.
Maybe
It's
you
a bit
know
harsh.
the guy who was hit by the Ferrari. His name is Sean Fitzgerald.
Oh, I know him all right. That's me nephew, the idiot responsible for the stacking of my hay cart. Was he killed by the car?
Oh, no, but he has been abducted.
Well, that's a relief now.
Neither of those situations are good. Him being killed or him being abducted.
Aren't you going
He
to look
seems
for your
pleased.
nephew?
What for? From what you say, it's too late.
Well, you could report the matter to the police.
Better not. Besides, what could they do?
Well, they could mount a search.
They have only the one bicycle between them. In a question of superior acceleration, I put me money on the Ferrari.
That was funny.
I think you ought to know exactly what Sean has gotten himself into.
I'm not sure I want to know.
But you're his uncle, his own flesh and blood.
You're right, but what can I do? If I'm not here to guard it, some idiot might try to climb the haystack. What a moral dilemma. Stay here and
Okay,
guard
so
this potentially
that's
lethal
something I'm gonna
agricultural
need to do.
construction, or to go off in search of the prodigal nephew, the very man responsible for said hazard. It'll need some thinking about.
Why, there's no problem.
You're right. Why didn't I think of it before? We'll demolish the haystack.
You don't have to demolish the haystack to go look
I
for
can look
Sean.
after it for
I'll
you.
stay here in your place and warn anyone who's silly enough to climb it.
Marvelous. I think I should start me inquiries in the bar.
Well, that was a constructive conversation, so...
He strode off in the direction of McDevitt's barn, leaving me to contemplate the stack of hay.
So can I climb it without killing myself? Oh, I can by the look of it.
The stack of hay stopped, short of the top of the wall. Even if I stretched as far as I could, the wall was out of reach. What I needed was a slice or two of Alice's Wonderland.
All I have is the T-bar. I don't think that'll work. No, it's not even given the option. Ooh, what about? Okay. That would work though. God, it's massive.
I inserted the end of the lifting key in the mortarless crack and gave it a
I still
firm
wouldn't trust
shove.
it.
It remained lodged in the wall, jutting out to form a step.
Ah, Jesse's favourite thing. The goat. The goat is not going to be very happy and is likely to try and attack me, I think.
The rope by which the goat was tethered had become tangled on the old plowshare.
Okay, I figured that was something I needed to do. And I'm guessing then I can now walk over this side, because I figured if I tried to walk past him the goat would attack me. So yes, there we go. I'm assuming that's that way. Right, okay. Going down. Wow, okay, there's some stuff down here. So what have you got?
As I dipped my fingers into the soft white powder, I realized what it was. Plaster of Paris. I'd used it in kindergarten to make casts of animal paw prints. I reached into the sack.
Okay, so having looked at that there's holes, so I'm guessing plaster goes in there. Ah, okay.
The statue was too heavy to lift. It overbalanced into the sand.
Right, okay, so if I lift it up now, it'll have left the indent on the floor, like that.
As I swung the stone upright, I noticed it had left a pattern of holes in the sand.
Okay, so let's put the plaster in that, and then can the liquid from the towel be enough to soak
I
it?
sprinkled the plaster on the sand until the holes were filled.
Don't know if there's enough water here, but we'll give it a go. No?
I squeezed the towel as hard as I could.
Okay, it was barely
but
damp.
It was
Okay.
barely damp.
Okay, so at least I've established that bit. I need to figure out a source of water. None of which I get anything in here. So that's the door's not going to open because I'm going to need to put the thing in there. Yeah.
I tried in vain to move the panel.
Okay, so that's fine. We've established that bit. The bag's empty, so I can't do anything there. Cool. Okay. Milk the goat. Yeah, I'm doubting an awful lot that I'm going to get anything from over here now. No, I need to do something back at the bar. Okay, I definitely need to do something at the bar. This way, George. I can't imagine Maguire's going to be any help.
Hey, Maguire.
What?
No.
See you later,
Useless.
kid.
Okay, mister.
I mean, I doubt that. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to do anything. So I've got to be able to do something inside the bar. I've got to fix that somehow. I mean, genuinely, no idea. I don't think this is going to work, but... I get it now. When he sneezes, I need to grab his thing.
As soon as the old guy looked away, I grabbed his piece of wire.
There we go. Oh no. It might be the right thing to do. Is it? Oh, it is. Okay.
I replaced the fuse with a piece of wire. I knew it was dangerous, but I was desperate enough to disregard everything I knew about standard safety
Yeah,
precautions.
as soon as I saw
Excuse me, Mr.
him
Leary.
drop it on the table, I
That fixed your
realised.
glass washer, no problem.
Bingo! And a blessing to all the saints.
A free half pint to that man on the house. Now, could you take a look at the beer pumps?
I guess so, but I'm not making any promises.
If you can't fix them, I'll have a riot on me hands.
The pumps are in the cellar, right?
That's right. You'll find a flashlight down there somewhere.
Okay, so that was good. We moved that forward. Right, that is going to be the lock for the and a rat.
I pushed the lever and heard the grating of metal, but nothing appeared to happen.
Okay, so that's going to do nothing. I'm going to have to go outside and open it from the outside to let the light in so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, backward and forward and backward and forward. It's how you turn a 5-minute game into an hour-long game. There we go.
I lifted the trap door, and an overpowering smell of stale beer rose from the cellar below. I looked down on a stone-tiled floor, way too far to jump.
It's Merlin.
Excuse me.
There was a nasty feeling in my guts I usually associated with light opera. It was Khan. What's the problem?
Or
Did
Merlin,
you
or
see
whatever
what
you call
happened
him.
here a few minutes ago?
What was that?
A man was involved in an unfortunate accident.
I didn't see anything.
What about the boy?
He doesn't know anything either. The kid, well, you know how it is in these rural communities.
He looks scared,
Not enough
though.
genes to go round. I prayed McGuire had the sense to keep his mouth shut. Was the guy hurt bad?
He's been taken care of, but he thinks he dropped a small parcel. You didn't happen to find it, did you?
If I had, I would have taken it to the police.
Of course. Thank you.
He does sound sinister. He does sound very sinister.
Now I could see. I spotted Mr. Leary's flashlight easily. Then I noticed a flash of light. Something sparkling beneath the open trap door.
Is this the gem that we need? Because basically the Lockman gem I think they're looking for is the gem
It
which
was
goes on the
Ingram's
tripod.
gem, all right.
I think, yes, there we
A
go.
large, uncut blue stone. I guess I was already under its spell.
Did you find it?
What?
Whatever you was looking for.
Yeah. Listen, McGuire. I want you to keep this to yourself.
No problemo. Just chuck us up a crate of lager.
No way. You're not old enough.
We can sell it and make some cash.
Forget it, kid. I couldn't betray Mr. Leary's trust.
I could, for sure. That old misery guts deserves it.
If you want to do me a favor, keep a lookout for that guy in the suit.
Okay. But it'll cost you a packet of chips.
Deal.
Oh, and shout if you see that Ferrari.
Okay, so I'm also seeing water, so I'm guessing that's where I need to put more water on this towel. And then quickly get a shift on.
The slow drip of water barely dampened the towel. The slow drip...
Okay. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but we'll hedge our bets a bit. Okay, quick, because I don't know how quickly this is going to dry out. I don't know whether it's time sensitive or not. I think the music sort of gets up when you're sort of moving the story on well. Oh, is that? I don't know why it wouldn't let me do it from before, but...
I squeezed the towel as hard as I could.
Oh, it still didn't
It
work
was
then.
barely damp.
Okay, well that didn't work as well as I'd hoped. I doubt that's going to do anything. No.
I smoothed the plaster level with the sand. It was my first experience of home improvement.
I mean, just in case I had to do that first, I doubt it makes a difference, but...
I squeezed the towel as...
Okay, so that's not going to make a difference at all.
I smoothed...
Yeah, okay, so that's not going to do me any favours, right, okay, that's fine. I don't think there's anything useful over here either.
I reached into the sack.
Okay, so I'm obviously need to do something to get more water from the tap then. Would be my guess anyway. So what did that do for me?
It was impossible.
So I'm missing something down here. I'm assuming I must be.
It was a rusty faucet.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking rust grease, maybe? No. Hit it with a hammer. No. No, I've tried that. It's not going to do anything. Yeah, I figured. Yep, okay, so we're establishing there is nothing I can do there. Okay, so talk to people, I think.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
Does this...
I'm not interested.
He obviously thinks it's something else.
I found your flashlight.
So I see it. You'd better keep hold of that until you fix the pumps.
I don't want to show him the
Look,
diamond, that's
I
not a
gotta be
clever
going.
idea.
Hey!
Hello there again, mister.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
It's a handsome mug on that fella, to be sure. Is he a film star?
No.
Does this security pass mean anything to you?
Well, no.
God, he came to the conclusion very slowly.
Do you recognize this matchbook?
No.
No, he's not going to do that either. Can't show him that.
May I shake your hand?
No, you can't.
Well, how come?
Because I'll spill me beer if you do.
Do you recognize this white powder?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
Bye for now.
showing them a diamond's going to be really silly. Just will be really silly.
Hello there. My name's George Stobart.
Please
I haven't spoken to
myself.
this guy before.
I'm O'Brien. Can I help you?
I have a suspicion that Fitzgerald might have been given something by Pegram.
I thought he acted strange.
I'm talking about the gem. It was something he said.
Were you not speaking to him when he ran out of the bar?
Yeah, sure. Just talking, that's all. Have you heard of the Phantom?
I've got to get something
Wasn't that?
to
I've seen it.
maybe
And
sort
let
that
me
switch
tell you,
out or something.
It's
Don't
a
know.
dreadful spectacle.
So it's not just a local legend. There really is a Phantom of Lochmore.
Oh no, I was talking about the Phantom of the Opera.
Have you ever heard of the Knights Templar?
I most certainly have. A remarkable institution. Did you know? They were the originators of our system of credit. Their financial empire stretched from the Atlantic to the Caspian Sea. With bases in so many countries, they had to establish new methods of fiscal transfer.
So, the Knights Templar were nothing but a bunch of bankers.
I don't get it. Are you saying these Templar guys invented bank charges?
In a manner of speaking, I suppose they did.
What a dirty trick. Didn't anyone try to stop them?
Oh, yes. They were arrested, and many were burnt at the stake.
Good. They bloody well deserved it if they were anything like my bank manager.
What can you tell me
They
about
obviously
the
don't like
castle,
banks.
Mr. O'Brien?
It's a fine sight now, isn't it? Dates back to the 10th century, you know. Most of the existing building was added much later, of course.
Are the ruins open to the public?
Oh, no, it's much too dangerous. Anyway, there's nothing of interest remaining.
Can you tell me about the tripod which was found at the castle?
Now, there's a bone of contention and controversy. It was dug up by an Englishman of the archaeological persuasion.
Who was this Englishman?
Professor Pegram,
Pegram,
the same man who dug up the gem.
Do you know where I can find Pegram?
You're too late to meet that fella.
Is he dead?
Not that. But he's gone from the village.
Do you reckon
A soft fight
Pegram
with our
scarpered,
esteemed
realising
host,
that
I might add.
Merlin was likely to kill him, so
Do
he
you know where
decided to
Pegram is gone?
go
I'm
and
sorry,
leave
but I don't.
Fitzgerald
He
to
anchored
do
in
the
dark
dirty work
and
so he
shipped
didn't have to
out
die.
before the dawn.
Why did he do that?
Who knows? A guilty conscience or a secret assignation. Whatever the reason, he'll not be missed in Lochmar. Maybe now the fuss about the gem has died down, we can get back to normal.
How can I get into the castle?
Well, we know
Those
that.
walls were built specifically to stop people getting in, Mr. Stobart. But I dare say you'll find a way, if you've the will.
Why is Pegram's departure upset the landlord?
He's lost a paying guest, that's why. More than that, there's the question of an unsettled bill. Poor Michael's seen red over the business, and I don't blame him.
Can you
Okay.
tell me more about the landlord?
Mick Leary? He's what you call a would-be sophisticated. The trouble is, his idea of sophistication extends as far as putting paper in the lavatory.
I never worked out why he did that. It's much too dark in there to read.
That's true. Have you ever run your hand over the back of the door? The graffiti is written in Braille.
Some of the lines in this are brilliant.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Nope, I've never seen him before.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think any of this is
Goodbye for
relevant.
now.
I'm going to speak to the one
He
person I
wasn't
haven't spoken.
listening.
Yeah, okay, so I can't speak to him. Oh. Unless I'm missing something really
Hey,
obvious.
McGuire,
What?
what do you think of my flashlight?
It's a torch. That's what we call it on this side of the Atlantic.
Do you know what this white powder is?
No,
I'm not going to show him the gem. Beer
What
mat.
do you make of this, kid?
hey, that's one of Leary's towels. He'll skin you alive.
That old windbag doesn't scare me. Anyhow, I'm only borrowing it.
You're pretty cool, mister.
Oh,
You're an old guy.
See you later, kid.
Okay,
I've had a
mister.
really bizarre brainwave. I wonder, you know, the goat's chewing? I just wonder whether I can give him the beer mat and he will chew on it and make it really moist. This is a very weird thought process I'm having. But it's what happens in adventure games. Sometimes weird stuff is what you need to do. I would have thought I could do something with it, but
Maybe not.
I'm sure that's something I could do, but I certainly can't do it now.
I placed my fingers and thumb into the holes in the wall. Nothing happened.
There's got to be something I'm missing, because that I know for a fact that I need to get that thing from there, that out of there. But I'm missing a step. going to do a fat lot. And obviously, there's no point in doing that because I know it hasn't got enough stuff on it. I'm sure it was the goat. I'm positive it was meant to be the goat that was meant to sort me out, but obviously not. There's some what looks like water on the floor here, but I don't think it's allowing me to do anything else. No, so that's not the thing either. I haven't talked to this old guy again. Nope. Oh, look at that, he's frozen with snot.
What? If I was a woman, I wouldn't think much of a wire necklace.
It's not made for a woman. I've got my sights on tastier dishes than women. Flesh as smooth and tender as a maiden.
This guy's worrying.
Bones as soft and white as a newborn babe's. Rabbit, that's what gets my juices flowing.
Okay, not quite as weird as I thought.
What do you make of this white powder?
Nothing.
Ah! Hay fever.
Could you use this towel?
I could, but it wouldn't be much use for anything else.
Hey, would you like to shake my... no, on second thought, forget it.
I just think it's risky
I'll see you later.
I think it's risky to show them the diamond. I genuinely think it's risky to show them the diamond. I must be missing something down here that I can do.
It was a rusty...
There's nothing else down here. Right, okay, well, this is a try everything on everything down here and see if it'll work.
The slow drip of water barely dampened the towel.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to do a fat lot. Try a diamond on it. There's nothing else down here at all. I've tried the greaseproof paper, or the greasy, whatever that is. Okay, so we're not really getting very far.
Excuse me. Yes, sir?
I'm going to have to do
Does
the gem.
Does this gem mean anything to you?
Phew. What a beauty. I bet you wish that was real, don't you?
Check out my card.
I've seen it, for heaven's sake.
I can't show him the towel, can I? He'll go mad.
Look,
Hey! Hello there again, mister.
Do you recognize this gem?
Saints be praised. It must be worth a fortune.
Yeah, I mean, that was no use to my
Does this
face.
tissue mean anything to you?
No, boss.
What does this false nose mean to you?
No, you're a clown.
What do you think of this flashlight?
It's not very bright, is it?
I could say the same about some of the present company.
That's true. But don't let him hear you. Keep it under your hat, mister.
That flashlight, like your brain died, is not switched on.
What do you think of this towel? Now, there's a fine piece of cloth if ever I did see one. Such craft must surely come from linen cupboards of the Vatican itself.
He's very weird.
Bye for now.
I speak to Patrick, but
Excuse me, Mr. O'Brien.
Mr.
Hello there.
O'Brien, but
What now?
What can you tell me about the gem which
I'm
Peter
still not
found?
feeling this guy's
Now
going to give me
there's a
anything.
gem, which should never have been taken. A man would have to be full of greed to covet that stone. What's your interest in the jewel? You're not a reporter, are you?
Oh no.
Thank the Lord for that.
I've just had the thought, do I actually just need to actually be here? Do I go back to Ireland now?
Goodbye for now.
Just on the off chance, I don't know whether can I go out of here?
That's what she said.
My wife's in chat, everybody. Say hello. I mean, I'm clutching at straws here. Yeah, I was afraid that wasn't going to work, Aaron. It certainly should do. See if any of the other ones work. Oh, that's not letting me do any of them anyway. Okay, give me 2 seconds, I'm going to have a quick play. Talk amongst yourselves. They certainly should play, I can't see why they wouldn't. Or they wouldn't work. Okay, 1 second, I'm going to see if this works now. I love the way that my wife has got a conversation with me over on here rather than anything else. Yeah, genuinely don't know why that's not working. I'll have to have a look into that next time, Aaron. I don't know why that's not actually working at all. Oh, actually, yes, I do. Let's try one more thing. Maybe it's just because that is insane. Got some things set up and it gets all very confused. Okay, just reset that. So let's see if that'll play now. Nope, still not playing. Okay, I'm gonna have to address that. Sorry, Aaron. I'll try and refund your points at some other point. So yeah, please bear with me. I do apologise on that front. Spare me 2 seconds. I'm going to see if I can figure out what I need to do now. So.
Hey, McGuire,
What?
Yeah, I'm very confused as to what's going on with all this.
Want a closer look at the gem, McGuire?
You'd better hide that, mister. What if the pixie comes back? You'll be in trouble then.
I don't believe in pixies. Underneath that costume is a psychotic killer.
Smart.
Give me your hand.
Get lost.
Oh, come on. I just want to show you a little trick.
No way, mister. I don't do tricks. Father Mahoney told me I'd burn in hell if I did.
I just want to shake your hand, that's all.
No way.
See you later, kid.
Okay, mister.
It was impossible to return the switch to its original position.
I must be able to do something. I can't have dug myself into a hole here. Unless I'm severely missing something.
The faucet creaked, coughed, and spewed out a stream of rusty-colored water.
I don't mean to be rude to you guys, but really, so he didn't. When you try and use that on the faucet, he doesn't automatically try and turn the actual faucet to get it working. He just leaves it. I mean, anyone else think that's just ridiculously stupid? Yeah, and that's not absolutely solid.
I held the towel under the faucet and soaked it with water.
Sometimes things frustrate you, don't they? Okay. I should be able to do this bit now. Oh, that water looks manky.
The trickle of water was quickly absorbed by the plaster.
I mean, you need to leave it a good while for it to set.
I eased the solid piece of plaster from the sand. Underneath, it had formed a perfect copy of the statue.
Okay, so that goes in the hole. I mean, for such a simple thing to need to do.
Snugly into the 5 matching sockets. There was a soft thud, then silence.
Doesn't sound very silent to me. Oh. Okay, so we've gone back to Paris. To Nicolas. Okay, so what do we need to do now, do we think? Can we leave?
I had no reason to go.
Okay, so we can't, there's no point in going out, we can't do anything, so that's fine.
My first Teddy. Never had a boyfriend as loyal as him.
So whatever I need to do is in this room. Either this is one very long day, or am I right in thinking that she hasn't actually changed her outfit? Or actually, George hasn't, for that matter, either. They must be absolutely
The box was
ponging.
carved by my father. It never had a key. The elephant on the lid was a perfect match to Cochon's. It was the beautiful elephant my father had carved.
No comment then? Okay.
The box was one of the few things my father left me. The elephant on the lid was a perfect match to Cochon's.
Just wondering, do I need to break the elephant? Is there something in the elephant?
No.
I haven't used
no.
that key for that matter.
The photograph showed Cochon smiling happily to camera, with a background of burning huts and death.
Okay, for the moment I don't think I can do anything with that, so I'm assuming there must be something else I need to do, unless it is that key, but I'm not convinced it is. Got the slowest walk across the room ever. Come on.
It was a photograph of my father, the first one I ever took, with the first camera he ever bought me. Another coded message using Plantard. Murderer must he will tear Emil so much, and for Conchon. Or maybe he was in too deep and whatever the story was.
Okay,
The cloth was embroidered with an unusual symbol.
helpful.
It was the beautiful elephant my father had carved. A safe key. The shell case had been flattened at one end, forming a serrated edge.
I mean, it could be as strange as having to use that on the lock, but I don't think so.
There wasn't anyone that I needed to call.
She's going to sit down and do nothing. It's going to be worthwhile. Great. You list. See if we've got a message. Anything useful from the message? I'm guessing.
I had messages waiting to be played.
Okay.
You have 3 messages.
Hey, Collard, it's me, your favorite editor. Guess what? I'm gonna give you a second chance. I need somebody to write the TV column. Pays lousy, so what's new? If you're interested, drop by the office. In fact, drop by the office anyway. We have to talk, Nico. That story of yours I spiked. It won't go away. You've made some dangerous enemies out there.
Hey, Nico, it's your old pal. I mean, your new pal, George. Whoa, Ireland. It's a whole different country. And I
Really?
got some
Very
amazing
observant of
news
you.
for you. Gem of a story, in fact. Oh, gotta go. Yeah, fella here's got a drink lined up for me. See you tomorrow, Nico. Slonsha. Yep, only here for a day and I'm speaking the lingo like a local.
Mademoiselle Coulard, this is Imelda Carchon. I wanted to thank you for being so understanding when... Come to lunch, why don't you? Tomorrow. I might have more news. There's a Monsieur Merlon coming to see me this evening.
Uh-oh.
He says he knows why Pierre was murdered. In fact, he'll be here shortly. I shall let you know what he says. Goodbye, dear girl. Till tomorrow.
That's not good.
My God, Merlin's the killer. I better get over there and warn her now. When it came to being two-faced, Imelda was up there with the best. I owed her nothing, but I couldn't just let her die.
Run. Go on. Show some energy.
I arrived to find the Palais Royal courtyard deserted. I only hoped that I'd beaten the assassin here. I had to warn Imelda before it was too late.
Okay, I think I can climb up here, but let's try and ring the bell and see if she'll answer.
The intercom system wasn't working. Bad sign. Somebody had cut the wire.
Door's going to be locked blatantly. Yes.
Locked? No way was I going to break through a door like that.
But I'd like to see you break through any door, to be frankly honest. Okay, so can I climb this thing? It looks like a ladder.
Fixed tight. Presumably to stop critics stealing it. Who else would want to? That broken window looked like the best way in.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I unhooked the first wire.
God, this is a really secure thing, isn't it?
I released the second wire. Even with both wires removed, the statue remained upright.
Oh, push it.
If I could deconstruct this, I could deconstruct anything.
Okay, so now climb the ladder. There we go.
The plastic sheet was thick and strong. I'd need more than my hands to tear it.
So she said about having this like a sharp edge, so serrated edge, I think she said. Pretty much the way the killer got in. Okay, just check out there's nothing in here. Not at the moment. Slowly, Nico, slowly. Okay, just gonna check if I can do anything with the front door. No, okay, so... Oh, this is gonna be a nasty situation bit, isn't it?
My God, I'm too late.
Not necessarily.
Imelda. Oh no.
No, she's not dead.
Nico? Don't worry, you're going to be all right. You know that isn't true. It was Merlin, wasn't it? Dressed as a cavalier. How absurd. You came to warn me, didn't you? I must be crazy. Let me see you, Nico. All this time you were just using me. Which one is the real Imelda? You are an extraordinary girl. Thierry would have been so proud of you. You didn't know my father. So like him. Something about the eyes. I wish we'd had time to get to know each other.
Oh.
She was gone.
She's dead.
She cheated me, lied to me, used me. But why?
So check the corpse.
Even in death, Imelda looked the same. Beautiful, inscrutable. The Ice Queen alone in her ice palace. I opened it. Inside was a tiny gold key.
I'm guessing to a
I took
box.
the key. I had to leave. I knew I could never return.
So that's going to be to that box. What is the whole point of this section? I don't understand why they've added that section in, because it really doesn't add anything. I mean, the fact that she's dead makes no difference to the plot. None at all. Imelda dying. All to get a key, basically. I'm sure they could just, I don't know, had a key around here or something, or you found it somewhere else. Maybe in that kind of underground bunker they had earlier. It seems a bit pointless to kind of just have to write that bit in about Merlin going to kill her.
The box was carved by my father. It never had a key. The elephant on the lid was a perfect match to Carchon's.
And she has to say that every single time.
I took out the key.
Ta-da!
I couldn't believe it. Imelda's key opened my father's box. I dreaded what I was going to find inside.
Ooh, Imelda was there by the look of it too.
It was a photograph of Imelda. But why here? In my father's box? I felt as if a black hole had swallowed me up. Imelda and Carchon grinning. While behind them a village was being razed to the ground. Its people butchered.
Her father
And
doesn't look
then,
that happy though.
Next to them, staring out at me across the years, my own father. There was a letter. I feared there was even worse to come.
Let's have a read of the letter then.
Hotel Saint Georges, Algiers, Friday. My darling Thierry, by the time you read this, you'll be safely out of Africa. You need not fear. Pierre and the organization do not know who you are really working for, or about us. Did you think I would betray you? I could not. You wanted me to leave him, but I don't have your courage. I know too much of what has been going on here. They would find me and they would kill us both. Enjoy your life in Paris, Thierry. Your life of honor, of patriotic duty.
Okay,
Do they give medals to spies?
It does appear
No,
that he
they'll
wasn't
just give
involved.
you a funny job in an embassy somewhere. I could never share that with you. Imagine me, a diplomat's wife. So I must stay here with Pierre, the two of us bound together by what we have done to this country. Au revoir, my love. You will be in my heart until I die. Imelda, suddenly everything made sense. My father had been working undercover for the government. He was one of the good guys after all.
Phew, she thinks.
He and Imelda must have fallen in love. She'd found out who he really was, so he had to leave. It had broken her heart, but she had never revealed it to anyone. I knew I couldn't either. Whatever he was doing, he'd had good reason to keep it secret. I decided I would respect that and tell nobody.
Are we the next morning with Nico? Yeah, we are still with Nico. Okay.
I knew it was George. For a moment I was tempted to pretend that I was out. Or ask him to go away and come back later. But then... Come in. Hello, George. So, where did you stay last night?
At McDevitt's. I got to drinking with Doyle and a couple of the guys.
That explains why you look so ill today. Did you get any sleep at all?
Not much. I had to share the room with another guy.
Did he snore?
Hardly. He was dead. Then Leary woke me in
Really?
the middle of the night
Oh,
to help
dear.
bail out the cellar.
The cellar was flooded?
Yeah, some idiot had left the faucet running.
And you say Pigran has disappeared?
Without a trace. But my visit wasn't a complete waste of time.
Pigran's gem?
The Templars Gem. Whoever Jacques Marquet is, he's in for a disappointment.
Jacques Marquet?
So
He's the
this
guy
does
who
all
should've
come
collected
back
the gem
to
from
the Knights
Fitzgerald.
Templar. I can't remember
What are your
the
plans?
storyline
I
of
want
why
to find out
Marquet's
who,
after it.
what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man.
So let's have a look at the
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
manuscript again. So
There's
this
a
is
guy
the
with
gem.
a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod.
So that's basically what we just found.
A knight with a crystal ball. The knight's scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces. There's a guy working on a loom.
Yeah, he's really not important, isn't he? It's a guy working on a loom.
Look there, 2 guys on the same horse. What are your plans?
I want to find out
Okay, that
who,
was helpful.
what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man.
Okay, so that's pointless then.
Do you want to look after the gem?
No, George. I'd be too tempted to sell it.
I genuinely think I need to go back to
I can't sit here all day.
the museum.
As much as I'd like to.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lobinot at the Kron Museum. And why don't you see if Oslo has heard anything?
Okay. Anything else I can do for you while I'm out? Shopping, a trip to the laundromat?
Just take care of yourself. I so much wanted to talk to George about everything that had happened, but I knew I never could. My father's connection to Africa would have to remain a secret forever. His bravery would be known only to the government and to me. Revealing it would just damage his memory. People would take the story and twist it. Before long, he would be the villain and Carchon would be the hero. I know how they do that. I'm a journalist.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna go to the police station first, and then I will see what else is cracking.
Sergeant Moo,
Yes.
have you heard of a man called Marquet?
Yes. He used to be known as the Mole of Montmartre. I heard he's been hospitalized, probably by one of his rivals.
Which hospital was Marquet taken to?
The Hagenmeyer Clinic. In the Avenue des Hérissons.
Why was Marquet known as the Mole of Montmartre?
Because he lived in Montmartre, I suppose.
Yeah, but why the mole?
I don't know. Maybe he ruined people's lives.
Helpful.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur? Where is the victim?
I'm the victim. I've been harassed by a pair of thugs.
I see. And where did this alleged assault take place?
Outside the Hotel Ubu. They stopped me as I was leaving and went through my pocket.
It's the way he used the word alleged then which bothers me.
One looked like a gorilla, and the other looked like a
It's like he
weasel.
doesn't believe
Their
us.
names are Flap
It's not
and
good.
Guido.
Bon. I'll get them this time.
Okay, so he knows about them.
Did I show you this photograph, Sergeant?
Yes, monsieur.
I think I showed him everything else. I
See
don't
you
want to
later,
show. I don't want to show him the diamond. I don't see relevance there. And it does look like Russo's gone. So, ooh, do we do the hospital first? I'm gonna see. I'm gonna head this way. I don't know whether this is the right way to go, but.
No, monsieur. No, no. Okay, okay. The case contained the tripod shown on the manuscript.
I don't. I'm getting the feeling I'm not meant to be here yet. I mean, Lobino's not there for a start, so yeah, we'll work on the assumption that we're not meant to be there yet.
I felt a little guilty as I tried the door, like I was about to rob a grave. I gripped the handle with an involuntary tremble in my hand and pulled. The door was locked.
Wow. So I'm just going to save again, just in case everything doesn't go right. Oh, hello, mate. You look important.
Hi, my name's George Stobart. Really? If you wish to make an appointment, see the receptionist.
I'm looking for a guy named Jacques Marquet.
In which department does he work?
He doesn't. He's a patient.
I see. You do realize there are strict policies regarding visiting hours, don't you?
This is important. I have to talk to Marquet urgently.
We make no exceptions to the rules.
It's a matter of life and death.
The well-oiled running of this hospital is a matter of life and death. That's why we have rules.
He's lovely.
I think I ought to warn you that Marquet is not what he seems.
Explain yourself.
He's in league with a bunch of guys who want to take over the world.
Nonsense.
Yeah, that does seem sound a bit far-fetched, doesn't it?
Marquet's employers have paid in advance for one of our most exclusive private rooms.
Could you tell me who Marquet's employers are?
Certainly not.
Okay.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, sir, I do not.
Does the name Thomas Merlin mean anything to you?
No, it does not.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamat?
No, sir, I have not.
I don't think I'm going to get anything from him.
Thanks for your help.
In fact, I'm pretty positive I'm not going to. I'm wondering if I can sneak down
Excuse me?
these areas, but I doubt it.
Yes, sir?
Is this the Hagenmeyer Clinic?
That's correct.
I thought I was in a garden center.
Oh, the plants. They were my idea. A little greenery to evoke the spirit of nature. How may I help you?
I'm here to see Jacques Marquet.
Oh, yes. Are you related to our client, sir?
This is a difficult one. I want to say yes, but no, we're going...
No, I'm conducting a private investigation.
Honesty is always the way.
I can't help you.
So, do I get to see Marquet before the funeral?
That attitude will get you nowhere. My instructions were quite clear. No one gets to see Marquet. So unless you can prove you're a relative or a close acquaintance, you're wasting your time here.
Look at this ID pass.
So you're Merlin. Marquet's been asking for you.
For me?
There we go.
Yes. He was shouting your name when they brought him in here. Now, let me see.
God, the volume suddenly got a lot louder.
He was on Ward B12, as I recall. Oh, he's being transferred to... Oh, dear. He's on Ward J2. That's... Nurse Grendel's ward.
What's so bad about Nurse Grendel?
She runs that ward like a South American prison.
Keeping a well-disciplined ward isn't a crime, is it?
Well-disciplined. In the discipline and punishment stakes, she'd whip the butt off the Marquis de Sade. Everything, I mean everything, is done to a strict routine. 6 o'clock alarm call, 6:10 bowel movements, and woe betide anyone who doesn't have a result. Those patients of hers are like Pavlova's dogs.
She sounds like a real nightmare.
And then some.
Has Marquet
don't
been
know
visited
what
by a man in
questions
a
are going to
clown
help,
costume?
but
Oh, no.
I'll keep pressing.
You haven't seen a man in disguise?
Well, there's Theodore the Bear. He comes every Thursday to entertain the children. Personally, I think he scares them half to death in that crummy old bear suit. If I was stuck on my back with tubes in every orifice, he's the last person I'd want to see.
If Nurse Grendel is that bad, how come the authorities tolerate her?
She's like part of the furniture.
I was beginning to get the picture. This woman was jealous, with a big green capital J. Has Marquet had a visit from a pair of gangsters?
What a question.
Not. Can you describe them?
A thin guy who looks like a weasel and his friend, the gorilla.
Sounds as if they escaped from a zoo.
I don't like the fact he keeps referring to the one
How
guy
do
as a
I
weasel.
find Nurse Grendel's
It's a bit
ward?
aggressive.
Down the corridor on the left, turn right at the senior consultant's washroom. Right again at the executive coffee lounge. Bear left past the administrator's sauna. And turn left at the end. That's J2. And good luck.
Thanks for your help, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Okay. Whether it's the right corridor, we'll find out.
As I turned the corner, I saw the source of the hellish noise which echoed through the corridors. It was an industrial polishing machine with an odd-looking guy in tow.
Well, I can obviously unplug that. That takes me out. I'm going to try going in. I get the feeling I'm going to be told to get lost.
Oui, monsieur.
Is this Ward J2?
It is, but you're not supposed to be here. We have strict rules about visiting hours.
Can't you make an exception? I've come all the way from California.
You must speak to the doctor.
I can't wait that long. What if he snuffs it?
You can't talk like that here. This is a hospital. You will have to leave.
Yeah, so I figured that would be the situation. Everyone's waving at me. Okay,
The connector in the socket supplied electricity to the polishing machine.
So I'm going to have to try the door. He will tell me off, then I can unplug it and go in the door. Because I think I get a doctor's jacket
You
in
can't go in there.
How come?
I'm responsible for the contents of that cupboard.
As I tugged the plug out of the socket, the polishing machine coughed, spluttered, and died.
Mr. Shiny, what's wrong, pal?
Oh, Mr. Shiny. Oh, what a sweet guy. He's named his equipment. Go, George, go. George, seriously? He's not going to see you come back out again. Oh, okay, he's going to steal off the back of the door. I'm now Dr. Stobart. And he kind of didn't cotton on and realise that's what happened. Okay.
Good afternoon, Doctor. The
And
patients are ready for your inspection, Doctor.
And she doesn't recognise me.
You'll need this, Doctor.
I look exactly the same, just with a white jacket. So there you go, boys and girls. If you want to get away with because, being in a hospital and get any access to anywhere, get yourself a white jacket.
Client in bed number 3 now. His name is Eric Sopmarsh.
Do you have a patient named Marquet on this ward?
Oui, monsieur. He is in the private room at the end of the ward. He has been placed in strict isolation.
What is this device?
It's for taking the patient's blood pressure, Doctor.
You should know that, surely.
Why is Marquet in quarantine?
If you wish to know more, you'll have to speak to Herr Hagenmeier. All I know is that Marquet's room is strictly out of bounds.
Do you have any clowns on the ward?
Why, yes, we do. A professional clown.
I'll bet he lightens the place up.
Hardly. Monsieur Boissy has been in a coma for the last 3 months.
It's not quite
What's wrong with Boissy?
He was involved in a very nasty accident. A silly stunt involving a unicycle. His current condition is due to post-traumatic shock. It's unlikely he'll ever perform as a clown again.
It's an ill wind that blows nobody any good. Do you know who paid for Marquet's room?
No, of course I don't.
Preferential treatment like that must cost an arm and a leg.
That's not my concern, monsieur.
Okay, I don't think anything else is going to be useful.
Au revoir, monsieur.
I can't talk to anyone else. I can talk to Mr. Wavy over here. Maybe he's going to distract
Anybody
her,
home?
hopefully.
Who are you?
My name is Dr. Stobart, and I'm here to steer you down the rocky road to recovery.
Dr. Monroe said there was no cure for what I've got.
Your problem is you stayed in bed too long.
Are you sure you're a qualified doctor?
You better believe it. What can you tell me about Marquet?
He's the man in the private room, isn't he? That room was mine before I was tossed out like a common squatter.
Do you know what's wrong with Marquet?
They won't even say what's wrong with me. Tell me, Doctor, what's your opinion?
It's too early to say.
But I've been here for 3 months.
What's your impression of Nurse Grendel?
She's a very efficient young woman.
It's a very polite way of saying kind of bossy.
You make her sound like a vacuum cleaner.
I've no complaints.
The woman in reception described Nurse Grendel as a monster.
Well, that's simply not true. She's quite strict, but that's her job, isn't it? You've got to have discipline in a place like this.
Ask about
Do you recognize the man in this
you'll
photograph?
No, Doctor. Who is it?
A cold-blooded killer.
It's a good job you haven't seen him then, really.
I'm going to take your blood pressure.
Why?
I'm a doctor. It's my job.
Okay, so what have you established having done that?
Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
Have you heard of a guy called Merlin?
No, Doctor.
No way.
I was just intrigued to see whether he actually would have done it.
I'll come back later.
Okay, so that didn't get me anywhere at all. I can speak to her again. I can
Doctor!
leave. Yes.
What is it? You haven't taken my blood pressure.
Well, I tried a second ago.
Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
Of course I am.
No, you're not. Dr. Monroe never did it like that.
I can't take a satisfactory reading while you're excited like this. I'll come back later.
I got a feeling this is going to be a recurring problem, so I'm probably going to have to speak to.
Oh, Doc.
What now?
You didn't.
Oh, okay. So this is I'm going to have to speak to Nurse Grendel.
Okay, let's try again.
Because I'm just going to go round and round and round in circles. Okay, just excuse me while I'm munching.
You don't have the first idea what you're doing, do you?
I'll come back when you've recovered your manners.
Don't talk to her because I can't.
Pardon me, nurse.
See what else I'm doing.
Do you want this,
Device for measuring blood pressure?
Yeah, do you want it back?
No, thank you.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
I've got a feeling if I walk up this way, he's gonna say it again.
You haven't.
Right, okay. Something else needs to be done then.
Will you keep quiet? You're disturbing the other patients.
I'll keep quiet when you've taken my blood pressure properly.
I have to see Jacques Marquet first.
How come he gets preferential treatment? It's because he's got money, isn't it?
I'll come back when you've dealt with that chip on your shoulder.
Am I going to get past him this time?
You haven't finished taking my blood pressure.
Calm, George. Calm.
Will you keep quiet? You're disturbing the other patients.
I'll keep quiet when you've taken my blood pressure properly.
I have to see Jacques.
How come?
I'll come back when you've dealt with that chip on your shoulder.
Right, so I just can't go that way. So it's either that or I'm going to have to go back out again.
Pardon me, nurse.
Oui, monsieur?
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I don't.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Okay, I'm going to work on the assumption that I can't get past him at the moment. And there's nowhere else around here, so maybe I can... Oh, hello. A new bloke.
My name's George Stobart.
Yes, sir? Pleased to meet you, sir.
Call me George if you like.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's my name.
My name's Benoit, but everyone calls me Bunny.
Bunny?
That's right. I used to have this cute habit when I was a kid.
Keep it to yourself, Benoit. Do you know anything about a patient named Marquet?
No, sir, I don't know much about any of the patients.
I've never met a doctor who admits that he's only human.
I'm only a trainee, sir. I'm sure I'll get the hang of things.
Do you know the nurse on Ward J2?
No, monsieur. This is my first day here. I can't wait to get my hands dirty. I was talking about treating my first patient, of course. I didn't mean to get my hands dirty with a nurse.
Shut up, Benoit.
Okay, sir.
Here, take this pressure gauge.
Thank you, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, keep it safe until I think of something.
No, well, tell him to go and do...
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. I've never seen him before.
Okay.
See you later.
Right.
Hi, I'm Dr. Stobart.
Yes, sir?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Well, he's going to know I'm talking crap, so this is probably a risky move.
Excuse me, sir.
Aha! Just the man. You must be the new boy.
Yeah, I must be.
Well, stop wandering about and make yourself useful. Bernie, come here, boy. This is Benoit, my nephew. Can I trust you to look after him? He is fresh out of medical school. It will open his eyes to see a real doctor on the job.
I'll bet.
Show him around. Let him see some real suffering.
Okay, so can I drag him down here now and get him to do the blood pressure? Maybe. He didn't follow me though. Do I seriously need to speak to him again? No, he's disappeared. So, oh, but no, he is following me, just very slowly. Right, okay. Oh, here we go.
Hey, Benoit.
Yes, sir?
Take the guy's blood pressure.
Do you still have that gauge I gave you?
Ah, yes. What do you want me to do with it?
Use it on Eric Sopmarsh.
Okay.
Okay, so he's gonna do his blood pressure wonderfully. Right, so hopefully while he's doing that, I can get past him. Hurrah, everybody! Oh, hello, it's a guard. The oldest guard known to man.
I'm Dr. Stobart.
Bonjour, doctor.
Have you heard of a guy called Marquet?
He's in quarantine, doc. Right behind this here door.
Marquet is just the man I wanted to see.
I wouldn't go in there if I was you. He has anthrax.
I really doubt he's got
visit
anthrax.
My patient.
What for?
Routine. I have to check he's still breathing.
What if he's not?
I'll sign the certificate and register his bed as vacant.
That's a cold and distant attitude to death.
Well, I've been institutionalized to the point of godlike aloofness.
The white coat suits you.
Thanks.
There's no, I don't.
Have you seen
Okay,
any
I'll ask.
suspicious
I don't
characters
know the
on
point, but
ward?
I'll ask.
Yeah, I have.
A gorilla and a weasel?
No, this was a tatty old bear.
How is the bear acting suspiciously?
Well, he was wearing a homburg.
Is that against the law?
No, but it's pretty weird for a bear.
He has a point. I'm going to ask about Merlin
Do
just
you
in case.
recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I have never seen him before.
Okay.
Catch you later,
Then
officer.
Anything else to speak to him about? Everybody, we're in the... Wow, he doesn't look well, does he?
Marquet?
Yes. I am Marquet. I've been expecting you.
You have?
Well, what are you waiting for? Get it over with.
I just want to know what I should do with the gem.
The Lachmar Gem.
Yeah, right here in my pocket.
I thought you were one of the assassins.
Not me. I never inhaled.
So, you were sent in my place?
Yeah. You could hardly make the trip to Ireland in your condition. What should I do with the gem?
Deliver it to the Grand Master. Quickly tell him that I have found the tripod right here in Paris.
You have it?
Not yet, but it's being taken care of. I hired a couple of stooges with a flair for petty crime.
Would that be Flap and Guido by any chance?
You know them?
Yeah.
For Klausner. He has gone off to Syria on a wild goose chase.
They have geese in Syria?
That's going to be somewhere else we're going to end up going.
As a theory about the location of the...
That's enough excitement for one day, Monsieur Marquet. What are you doing here?
Talking to this patient, of course.
Monsieur Marquet is my patient. If he hadn't my office to hear that.
Okay, I'm going. I'd learned all I could from Marquet anyhow.
And there you are, sir. I was just coming to look for you. I finished with your pressure gauge.
Thanks, Bunny.
What's that noise? It sounds as if someone's having a cardiac arrest.
It's all right. The doctor's in there with him.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Oui, monsieur. He showed me his ID. It was Dr. Braille.
There's no Dr. Braille working here.
He's an imposter.
Yeah, he's going to be...
The door's locked. Help me, officer.
Stand back, monsieur.
Well, he knew it was happening, so... Oh, rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. We're back in Nico's apartment.
Hello, Georges.
I found Jacques Marquet.
Did he talk?
Yeah, he talked. For the very last time.
He's dead.
Yeah. Killed in cold blood by a bogus doctor.
That's despicable. What kind of guy would pass himself off as a doctor and take advantage of a dying man? Was it Khan?
No. I don't know who he was, but it certainly wasn't Khan. He got away, out the window. Have you ever heard of the Hashi-Ashin?
No.
Marquet said that they were his biggest enemy.
His biggest enemy was the bogus doctor.
Don't remind me. That guy was evil. He had wild, staring eyes like a dead fish. I'll never trust a doctor again. Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd introduced themselves.
Okay, there's no point in looking at that. I can't see the point in showing her that either.
I guess I'd better go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one, Rousseau or Sergeant Mou? Oh, but you're referring to Andre.
I'll let you work it out.
Okay, I'm gonna... I seriously think there's going to be... Yeah, I don't think there's anything there, so I'm not going to speak to Moo again because I just don't think he's going to gain. I'm going to gain anything. Aha! There's a guy here now. I think this is Lobineau.
I beg your pardon. Are you Andre Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No. I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobar. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochman tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you.
Yeah, which basically makes a sound and that's about all it is.
Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes. It was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes. They gave a new word to our language. Assassini. The assassins.
Okay, that's interesting.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legends surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
That's interesting.
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to
I'm not sure if anyone
die
watching this
for
is
the
actually
cause.
checked any of the facts in this, whether it was actually factually accurate. Something I might look into.
And disguise. Then the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassin still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
Why don't you loan the
Most certainly
tripod
does.
to me for safekeeping?
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point. Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure. It was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
Sounds
that
lovely.
explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn? That's where Pegram was digging.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived. Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much. Only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah. Not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman.
He got very excited by that, didn't he?
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez. This friend who has the manuscript?
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
She lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
I thought he was going to run it by Nico first.
How did the Templars get their name?
From
so
the
then suddenly
building
he
which
doesn't.
They set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Is it true the treasure of the
quite
Knights Templar
find
was
it's quite
never
intriguing.
found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
I wonder whether this game, they had the story of what they wanted and then they put the Templars in, or whether they had this knowledge of the Templars and then sort of thought, oh, having a sort of killer in the background doing something for the Knights Templar would be interesting as a game. It'd be interesting to know which way round it sort of went.
What do you make of this?
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
From Professor Pegram's messenger boy.
Did Pegram find this on his dig?
Yeah, the site where this was found was a Templar castle. Do you think it could be part of the Templar treasure?
No, I shouldn't think so. You're not one of those crazies who think the Templars still exist, are you?
Well, I try to keep an open mind on the matter. Does the guy in this
I
photograph
don't think it's
look
much
familiar
else
to
of
you?
worth to ask.
No.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Alamut is the name of the place where the Hashashin were based.
Where is it?
Somewhere in what used to be called Persia. I'm not too hot on modern geography, I'm afraid. The most recent map I have shows America as an English colony.
That's an old map.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
I'm wondering whether I need to go back to Nico and have a conversation with Nico, and then we can go from there. Cafe is going to be pointless. Or do I go to Montfort? That's all it's called. Let's try here first. It's a new place which has come on the map, so why not?
Excuse me, officer. What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy,
you can see
what they teach in the police academy these
the
days.
archway is fairly grim if that's what they
I read it
were.
on that board over there.
Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
An excellent question, monsieur.
Yeah, he doesn't care, does he?
Have you seen this man before?
No. Who is it?
I believe him to be an international assassin.
Oh.
Is that all you can say? Oh.
I did wonder if I should say that I believe you to be an international paranoiac, but it didn't seem polite.
It's quite funny though. Let's give him a heart attack. No, it's not doing that.
Look at this gem. What do you think?
Cut glass.
No, it's not. It's for real.
What kind of madman would go around waving a priceless gem under people's noses?
So either it's glass or I'm mad? I didn't like to think about that for too long. I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
I was going to say, I don't think that he was going to give me anything particularly useful. I don't think there's much up there. Can I go in the cafe? I can exit. I mean, that I'm going to need to lift that manhole, but he's going to blatantly stop me from doing such things.
I couldn't open it with my bare hands.
Yeah, I mean, he's just not going to stop me from doing this, surely.
Hey, you! What do you think you are doing? Leave that comer alone. Now.
Sorry, no harm intended.
You stay away from that.
So yeah, I blatantly knew that was going to happen, so I'm just wondering if there's anything up here that I can do. Ooh, hello. I got something there which flashed up very briefly.
I didn't have time to sit around.
Okay, it's going to have a mooch down here then. You can sometimes in this game you can see how old it is, where they kind of, yeah, fix the background in almost as like a sheet of paper, and then
a knight there in the company
everything
of his
moves.
Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess.
Okay, so he's useful. I can do something with him.
On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack. Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported. A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell.
I haven't got the manuscript, so I can't do anything with the manuscript.
A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work.
Yeah, that doesn't look like it's at all useful.
I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout. A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll. The statue had any secrets. It was concealing them pretty well. I could see that what had at first seemed to be a fine engraved chasing on the scroll was actually writing. Per disciplinum meum lux videbus. Sounds pretty familiar to me. I didn't recognize.
Have I got anything I can look at here?
It was Nico's photograph of the man we suspected of killing Plantar.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to do anything, but...
In comparison to its neighbor, it looked pretty plain.
Just in case this next one's got anything interesting, but I doubt it.
A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4. I wondered if this guy had died in combat.
There's nothing there. I can't do anything with those guys. I can look at that one, but I don't think that's going to help me much.
A knight there in the company of his fellows. A row of old pews, beautifully carved and glowing with polish. I thought of all the people who must have sat here over the decades. All those Parisian derrieres, firm buttocks of the young ladies, the flabby flesh of the old men. That wasn't.
I like where his
pleasing
brain
image,
goes.
So I went back to the young ladies.
Yeah, I was going to say, young ladies,
Whoa!
yeah. Okay, that was a bit too excited, really. Yeah, it's like, ladies, old man, ugh. That's sort of where his brain went then. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing in there particularly, I don't think, at the moment.
In French, English, and German it read, in 1312, Pope Clement V dissolved the knightly order of the Templars and excommunicated its members on charges of heresy. In the following 2 years, many of the knights were hanged on this site. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burnt at the stake on an island in the Seine.
The guy in the hospital, he did say to us about... I was wondering if text there, please. He did mention the Grand Master. I distinctly remember him saying about something about the Grand Master. So I need this old timer to move, I think. Okay, I'm going to have to talk to him because I can't do anything else.
Hello again.
Hello again, monsieur.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
The pattern looks Middle Eastern.
Yeah, I'm seriously going to
Take a
get
look
very
at
far.
this.
Ah, an electrician.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Aha! A prosthetic. stick nose. Very significant.
It is?
No, I am just having a little joke.
By the way, that everything he's showing him, he's kind of going, ah, fascinating, and it really isn't.
What do you think of this?
A blood pressure sleeve.
He's good. He's good. Guess what this is?
Delightful. Would you like to see some of my used tissues?
Hell no.
Then please put yours away.
That's a very valid point.
This is?
Aha! You Americans with your notorious nose candy. I read Hollywood Wives. I know all about it.
If you tried to sniff this stuff, you'd wall up your nostrils. It's Plaster of Paris.
It is. Thank heaven. For one awful moment, I thought I might actually have to arrest somebody. Alors, the paperwork. You have no idea.
Do you know what this is?
It's a sewer key.
Would you like to shake? I stopped myself barely in time. Electrocuting a cop would not have been smart. They'd rebuild the Bastille just so they could throw me in and throw away the key.
Okay, so there's nothing there. I'm going to have to go back and speak to somebody else, aren't I? Well, let's try the police station because I can't figure out anywhere else to go. I maybe have to speak to Nico, but I don't think that's what I need to do.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
I don't want to speak to them about them. It's just pointless.
That is...
No, I didn't think that's a good idea.
No way. Maybe not. Does this matchbook mean anything to you, Sergeant?
You already showed me, monsieur. It's a beauty.
I remember, yeah, he kind of got very excited by it. I showed him that. Plaster of Paris is a bit pointless.
See you later, Sergeant.
Excuse me. Been a long day, everybody. Okay. No one to call. Okay, it's going to have to be back to Rougerie because I can't see the point in going back to the cafe. I go back to the museum, but I don't think that's the option. Let's go to Rougerie, and then if it's not there, it's back in Nico's apartments. Okay, that's definitely where I need to go.
Hello, George.
Okay, so let's have a.
Let's take another look at the manuscript. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
I think I need to speak to her about Lobino.
The Night Scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's a guy working on a loom.
Look there.
There's a guy with a sword between them.
Oh,
so that was
by
really
the way,
pointless again.
I had a visit from André Lobino.
Oh, yeah. I hope you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Not at all. It was lovely to see him again. He was over the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the Knight's Crest to take back to the museum.
He was more interested in looking at the scroll than you, Nico. That's got to say something to you.
I sure hope so. Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Okay, we already had that
unless
response,
they'd
haven't we?
introduced themselves.
There's no point in discussing that.
Do you want this photograph back?
No, you keep it. I can always make another print.
Didn't even get a response on that one.
Did I show you this matchbook?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Yes, there's nothing useful. And the manuscript.
Let's take another.
Okay, I doubt there's going to be anything new.
There's a guy with a between them.
No, okay.
There's a
the
guy.
loom.
There's a but the
So yeah, we're
and
definitely
the night through my
definitely just flogging a dead horse there.
better
So
get back.
right, definitely got to go. So it's got to be at the museum now. I can't fathom anywhere else to go. Actually, one second. I'm going to try one other place. I'm just wondering whether Russo's here. I extremely doubt it. No, he's not. So, right. Okay. Right, museum then. Okay, so he's back here now.
Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie. Hey, I visited Nicole's apartment.
Yeah, she told me you came by.
Ooh, quite a fine Georgie boy. I didn't expect anything quite so sexy.
I hope you're referring to the manuscript.
Oui, of course.
What did you make of the manuscript?
It dates from the time of the Crusades.
We guessed that from the Templar seal.
It's a story and pictures like a modern-day comic book.
What story does the manuscript tell?
I don't know. It was probably produced for the tourist market.
Tourists?
Oh, oui, pilgrims in their thousands on their way to Jerusalem. The tourist trade is nothing new, you know. It's been around for centuries. Ever since Joshua made a packet selling souvenir bricks from the walls of Jericho.
Have you deciphered any of the images on the manuscript?
There's very little I can be sure about. The slang of the bull could be a reference to Mithras.
Who's he?
A Persian god, almost as popular as Christ at one time. The only thing I can be sure of is the knight. He's Spanish.
How can you tell that?
The writing on the shield, the reference to Ave Maria. No self-respecting knight from Northern Europe would have borne a coat of arms like that.
Okay.
Can you identify the knight's coat of arms?
I already did, Georgie. He's a member of the De Vasconcelos family from the Costa Calida.
They said the guy in the church was Spanish.
They're not mentioned after the 15th century.
Oh.
The spotlight of history moved on. They are probably long dead.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
So I think that was a hint to that the thing in the church, a Montfaucon. I think that was a reference to that. Would be my guess. Nope, don't need to look at that. Oh, sorry. Clicked on the wrong thing again. Sorry. Right, so let's look at this guy again. Hopefully this time we might actually kind of go, ooh, that's something or other, but rather than
on the
just...
end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack. A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell.
Yes, he said exactly the same thing as he said before, so that's... I've got nothing again. Going round and round in circles. What rhyme with the really boring circles? Okay, I doubt speaking to this guy is going to make any difference whatsoever.
Excuse me, officer. What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they teach in the police academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Shouldn't you be off direct?
You have...
Yeah, so...
I could... Which...
Yeah.
The fact that it's given me the same option to go back around the circle
Does this
again.
red nose mean anything to you?
Ask the same questions, it's ridiculous. Yeah, except...
It is?
No, it's not.
I'll see you around.
So I know I can hide in the thing, but I don't think I can do it now.
Attention!
Don't you think it's kind of...
Better stop.
What's the problem? Fumes from car exhausts?
Not just that, monsieur. There's a new burger bar opened up across the street. The Laughing Buffalo.
So what's the problem?
They cook their burgers on a charcoal grill. And the fat falls on the open flame. The amount of organic compound and smoke particles released is astounding.
Since they opened, local air pollution has doubled. And it stinks like a funeral pyre. That is why I keep the windows closed.
Okay, I'm gonna see if when he turns his back whether I can
Don't
come on, walk off a bit. Come on.
It is closing time.
Ah, okay, cool.
Already, there just aren't enough hours in the day.
More than enough for me. I can't wait to get home and put my feet up.
Eh bien, see you tomorrow.
Good night, monsieur.
Okay, so they're gonna leave, and it's gonna get broken into. Here we go. Here they are.
Quit fooling around, you moron! Get your ass over here and bring that flashlight.
Timber.
What the? Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
Oh, hello. Is that Nico or something?
And when I woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor Georges.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
I don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in costume.
So basically, Nico is a secret ninja.
You who stole the tripod? Oh, hell, Nico. I could have been shot.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own feet.
I just wish you'd told me your plans. We're supposed to be in this together. And how come you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats. And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod.
No, we'll let you off.
Is there something going on between you and Labano?
What business is it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, jealous
we
much?
agreed all this. The clown, the Templars, strictly business, remember?
Yeah, but...
So get off my case.
You tell him. Oh, we really should do that now, shouldn't we? The diamond?
Let's take another look at... There's a guy with us between them. There's... but...
Yeah, I don't see why this keeps coming up as an option.
The night through... Just how long have you known Labano?
Andre? We met at college. He helped me out when I was a fresh air. Showed me around, that sort of thing.
You never told me that before. I thought he was just a working acquaintance.
So he is. I rarely see him these days. You know, he hasn't changed much.
Just looking at this, is that actually what it's meant to be? To dry stuff on? I'm not sure what I think of that. Whether that's a clever idea or not.
I'd better get back to the quest.
Okay, so the museum's still there. PlayStation Rougerie. I think it's got to be up here. It's got to be at Montfaucon. Aha! And there's life here now.
Excuse me, officer.
Okay, I'm not gonna. Oh, I turn the tripod.
What do you know about medieval ironmongery? Have a look at this little baby.
A tripod? What is it for?
You mean you don't know?
No, monsieur. Nor do you, I think.
I'll see you
so
around.
that's nothing.
Monsieur. I'll be there.
They look fascinated,
Hey,
don't they?
you with the balls.
Oui,
How did you learn to be a juggler?
juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
No, I am a jongleur.
A jongler? What's that?
Mon Dieu. A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contragravitique aeroballetique mysteries. In centuries past, the courts
Basically,
of the
yeah,
province of
he's a
Europe
clown.
had the jongleurs, witty, erudite men to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Wait a minute, wait. Let me get this straight. Our enemies are at the borders. Plague ravages the land, and the peasants are revolting. Thank God we've got Chuckles the Jongler to throw his balls around. I don't think so.
That's possibly a little bit
What do
harsh.
you know about the Knights Templar?
Le Templier? Ah, the last Grand Master, Jacques Dumoulin, was burned on an island in the Seine in 1314.
Wow. You're pretty well educated for a juggler.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
They all did that.
I've got a medieval tripod.
And my Uncle Claude has hemorrhoids. So what?
That is a great response. A really fantastic response.
That juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Be my guest.
I had no idea what I was doing. But this guy was obviously an idiot, so how difficult could it be? A lot more difficult than I thought. That's how difficult.
At least the crowd enjoyed that.
Still, it was my big chance to be derided by complete strangers.
Not so easy after all, is it?
No, I guess not. I had no desire to talk to the crowd.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see the benefit in talking to them, but the option was there. Aha! It's nice when you walk into a room, walk into somewhere and there's a new person. You're like, ooh, something to do at last.
Excuse me, Father.
Pardon?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Not at all, monsieur. It will be my pleasure to help you.
Is the right-hand window original?
Oui, monsieur.
How long have you worked here?
What a great question.
Hardly work, monsieur. This is a calling. I have been helping Father Flambert.
He was a lot older in the image there than he does up here.
I guess you don't know much about the history of this church, then.
Just a little.
Do you speak Latin?
You ask this of a priest?
Okay. Can you tell me what per disciplinum meam lux videbus means?
Let me see. That would be, by my teachings, you will see the light. I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. What do you know about the Knights Templar?
You have come to the right place, if that is your interest.
Does he say that Latin?
Outside. It was a disgrace to France.
Well, the Pope was right behind it, though.
Clement V was a man of mammon, not of God.
That's kind of forthright for a priest, isn't it?
You think so? It is hard to be sure what happened. It is so long ago.
You've got quite a shine on that candlestick.
Ah, oui. Anything less than best would be an insult to the Almighty.
I guess so. I never thought of it like that. I've got a medieval tripod.
Monsieur, you are a walking treasure house.
What a way to say
How
that.
about this for a gem?
It is very beautiful.
Not whether George is whipping things out and showing strangers.
I feel that there is an air of suffering about it.
Have you seen this man before?
No, I have never seen him before.
Yeah, I can see that coming.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly... On the end of the staff was some around the base of the disc.
Yeah, Yeah, I figured as much.
I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout. I didn't have time to sit.
Yeah, I'm just not sure where I need to go this time. That's why I'm going to speak to this geezer again. I don't think he's going to... I really don't think he's going to help very much.
Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
You're so polite.
That is...
Okay.
What do you think of this?
A precious sleeve and valve? What should I think?
Never mind. I have here a sewer key.
Ah, oui?
You must be proud to have such an incredible collection of stained
That was a great
glass.
response, wasn't it?
Pride
Yep.
is a sin, monsieur. But it is hard not to marvel when the light shines through them. It is a fine example of the artisan's genius.
I've got a red nose.
Oui, so you have.
No. I was in Ireland recently and I brought back this plaster.
My sister brought back a shillelagh.
She brought back something a lot more interesting.
There's grease paint on this tissue.
Oui, you are correct.
I thought about using the shake and shock on him, but I couldn't do that to a priest. Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
I mean, yeah, just... Yeah. Not what you wanted to do. Let's talk to Bobo the Clown. Or the
Hi
Jongleur.
Oui? What is it?
Look, a red...
Ah, you are a clown.
A clown?
No, if so, you would be a much better jongleur.
For a moment, an idea capered around near the spotlight of my attention, but fell down the pothole of abstraction before I could focus on it. Have you seen this man before?
No.
Okay, that was short and to the point.
Feast your eyes on this.
Incroyable. Is it real?
I think so.
Some people believe that great gems always have curses upon them.
Oh, that's garbage. Although, now that I think about it, both of the people who had this before me disappeared in mysterious circumstances. And the guy who was supposed to get this was shot and then murdered in his hospital bed. Do you want it?
No, thank you.
Does this lab pass mean anything to you?
You work in a lab.
No, try again.
You steal lab passes?
No.
Well, technically,
Well,
that second one's
not as a
probably
habit.
right.
This was a special case. Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
You smoke.
No, I don't.
In that case, it means nothing to me.
I mean, I can keep asking questions,
Catch
but
you
I
later.
just don't
Au
think it's
revoir,
going to get me
monsieur.
anywhere. This guy's going to be no use again.
Hello again.
Hello again, monsieur.
Yeah, there's
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur.
just no point. I can't go back to the museum. I'm going to try the police station again, just in case Rousseau's back. No, he's not. Moo's going to tell you nothing useful. Ah!
Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, ask
I'd
about
like
the
to
two.
report this-
Yeah,
monsieur?
done this already.
They stopped. Could you just... One looked like a... Their name...
So, yeah,
See you later,
we've
Sergeant.
asked those questions before, got nowhere. I mean, oh, unless... Do I go back to Ireland? No, I can go to Spain. Sometimes I'm really, really, really thick. That's not... Yeah, that's not the direction I would have approached him from. Yeah, let's walk through the hose.
Is this the De Vasconcellos house?
Who wants to know?
I could tell the old coot was going to be trouble. My name's George Stobart. I was wondering whether...
The house is not open to the public.
This is the De Vasconcellos house.
And what business is that of yours, senor?
Look, all I want is to speak to the head of the household.
There is no household. Only the Countess and myself.
Tell me about the Countess de Vasconcellos.
She doesn't receive guests. That's all you need to know.
You don't even know what I have to talk to her about.
She hasn't won the lottery, has she?
No, she hasn't won the lottery.
A more cunning man might have claimed that she had.
Oh, yeah? They might have, might they?
And that more cunning man would have been kicked off the premises. The Countess doesn't do the lottery.
What do you know about the Templars?
Cunning
Who
ruse,
wants
I guess.
to know?
Are you angling for a bribe or something?
You have nothing that I want, senor, except the pleasure of your absence.
The guy was obviously protecting the Countess against the whole world. But why?
Okay, so let's show some stuff and see what
Do you
whether we can get
recognize
him.
this man?
No.
Okay.
See this gem? Men have died for it.
Do I look as if I care?
This lab pass mean anything to you?
Nothing.
Not doing very well.
Do you recognize this matchbook?
I don't smoke.
Wow. Okay, this is really not going
What do you
well.
think of this tripod?
I think nothing of it.
What do you make of this?
So that's it. You're a salesman.
If I was hawking medical supplies, I can think of better places to hawk them. Look at this tissue.
It's a tissue with some greasy muck on it.
Yes, that's right. I don't
Yeah,
suppose
I'm getting
this
nowhere
red
here.
nose means anything to you, does it?
Ah! El Flojo!
El who?
El Flojo! He is a clown on state television.
Oh, is he any good?
He is as funny as scabies, without the laugh.
Do you know what this is?
See, I have a similar tool for opening culverts on the estate.
Have you got any use for a fistful of plaster?
No,
Okay, and ask what...
Would you like to shake hands?
I do not think so, senor.
Okay, so far I've asked all the questions and
I'll
come
be going
completely
for now.
blank.
Adios, senor.
I can go this way, though. Okay.
Rats. It's locked.
Alright, so I can't walk that way. Oh,
I wasn't about to go clambering on rooftops if I didn't have to.
Really testing my brain
The
today.
door was a handsome piece of work, in keeping with the ornateness of the rest of the building.
Okay, so unless I'm missing something major, there is nothing I can do here. At least not yet. I mean, can I just sneak in the building without him knowing? I would strongly suggest I can't. But maybe I can do something with the pipe here, though.
I didn't like the idea of carrying 30 yards of hose around me, so I left it alone.
I mean, he's going to tell me not to go in the building, isn't he? Well, we know that.
Hey, you.
Yeah? What is it?
You would not like it if people just wandered into your home, would you?
Well, No, I guess not.
Then show a little consideration.
Okay. Sorry. The main part of the house was old, but nowhere near as old as the gatehouse section.
I mean, I assume I've got to do something with the hose to distract him so I can get into the house, but what have I got on me? Oh, I get it. Put that on the pipe, do that, pump it up and it will stop the water flow. That one at least made a little bit of sense.
My hose has stopped.
Yeah?
See, my hose never stops.
Well, I'm sorry to hear it. It's always sad when an old tradition comes to an end.
Did you have anything to do with it?
Well, I'm shocked. I'm mortified. How could you think such a thing?
Very easily, senor. Very easily. I'm going to find out why my hose has stopped. And that means going into the house. You are not, absolutely not, to go in the house. If you do go in the house, I will set the dogs on you.
Well, unfortunately, I have the feeling we're going to have to go in the house. Because technically speaking, what else can we do? So I can go that way, I can go upstairs. Try this way first. That wasn't ideal.
Hey, you. I know you are there, American. All right, you dogs. I'm coming.
Did I get away with that or not? Possibly.
Madre Dios, who are you?
My name's George Stobart.
At least we got up
I'm
here.
sorry to burst
We've
in
made a
like
bit of
this.
progress.
You must leave at once. You're not wanted here.
Please, if you just listen a minute.
Very well. State your business, Senor Stobart.
Very lonely game of chess.
There's been a series of murders, part of some conspiracy. Anyway, the trail led me here.
Here? There is nothing for the outside world here.
Over 600 years ago there was.
What do you mean?
This whole thing ties in somehow with the Knights Templar.
The Knights Templar are dust.
They had a secret that was so important, they went to a lot of trouble to hide it.
I do not see what this has to do with my family.
Your family had a strong connection with the Templars, right? I believe that they have planted some clues here.
Why should I believe a complete stranger who barges into my home?
Just let me have a look around. If I find nothing...
You'll be spending the night at the police station. Very well. Please, sit down.
It's nice of her to actually kind of give us the time of day.
I know your family is involved with the Templars, but I don't know how.
You should be asking how my family were involved, Senor Stobart. The Templars ceased to exist centuries ago. And as for De Vasconcelos, the line dies with me.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
Okay, whatever happened, happened almost 700 years ago. So, if the Templars left any clues, they're going to be in stuff that dates back to the early 14th century.
Obviously.
So, what do you have around here that's early medieval?
Early medieval. Let me think. Well, the house is relatively modern, a scant 3 centuries old. Or, of course, the chess set.
That chess set is over 600 years old? It must be worth a fortune.
Indeed it is. Not that I would part with it, of course.
No, I wouldn't either. That's the sort of thing that gets handed down to your children.
Awkward.
Sorry.
Its value is less than you might think. The set is not complete.
One of the pieces is a modern replacement. As to the original, it was lost a long time ago.
Nobody has any idea where it is?
No. The children had it when they were taken.
Children? What children?
All in good time, Senor Stobart.
May I examine the chess set?
Certainly. But do not move any of the pieces.
Okay, thanks. Close up, the modern piece stood out like a sore thumb. There was something else odd about the set. All of the original pieces had irregular bases.
My lady, I have to warn you, there's a...
Oh, there he is.
You! Why, I feed you to the dogs.
Lopez, what have I told you about feeding intruders to the dogs?
But, my lady...
Never without my permission. Senor Stobart, if I find that you're wasting my time, you will be fed to the dogs. Now, I want to show you something interesting.
There's no pressure on him though, is there? Lopez must have a really bad back because he's very hunched. I feel your pain.
Lopez,
I feel your
unlock
pain.
the door, por favor. This is the only remaining structure on the estate contemporary with the Templars.
Nice. What is it, a summer house?
A mausoleum,
I was going to say.
Senor Stobart.
Oh.
Come with me.
Hey, senor.
Yeah?
I do not know what you have told my lady to be shown these favors, but I do not trust you.
You've got nothing to worry about. Aren't you coming in?
No, the dead do not interest me. My garden is a living thing. I will be there.
I love when people sort of like say, I don't trust you, and they go, well, you know, kind of like, oh, you know, I'm trustworthy, or, you know, you've got nothing to worry about. Like, well, it doesn't help anything, it's just words.
As the final resting place for the De Vasconcelos Templars.
It's well maintained.
These are my ancestors, and they deserve respect. I come here at least once a week to say a prayer for them.
Mind if I have a look around?
By all means.
Okay, so something there. Close the window apparently. Candle. Lots of dead folks. I don't think this guy's one of them.
The mausoleum contained 5 tombs for 5 of the Knights Templar, man-size in marble.
There's a space here for another one though.
On removing the Bible, I found a pattern on the lectern top. Hey! It's a checkerboard! A big statuette of the Virgin Mary kept an eye on the place. Now what? There was nothing to snuff. Feeling like an idiot, I put it down again. I couldn't climb up there without breaking something. Close up, I could see that the pattern was made up of glass squares over a checkerboard pattern.
Do we need to get the board pieces? Get the board pieces and see if we can line them up on the board somehow?
May I ask you something?
You may ask.
Who exactly are these people?
My ancestors. These 5 men were all members of the Templars.
5 ancestors in the order. You must be very proud.
Not 5. 6.
Where's the 6th knight?
He was lost to us.
You lost an ancestor?
It is a family matter. It can have no relevance.
Well, it's connected with the curse of the De Vasconcelos, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I hope you will honor my desire not to talk about it.
Okay, well, I'll leave it for now. Is the Virgin Mary really the right person to be sharing a mausoleum with 5 knights?
You are showing your ignorance, Senor Stobart.
Touch the nerve there.
The Templars were dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
Yeah, definitely don't think she was very happy with me saying that.
What's the story with the glass chessboard?
Glass chessboard? Oh, the pattern on the lectern, purely decorative, I'm sure.
There are pieces of glass missing from it.
Oh, it has been like that since I was a girl.
The gaps in the glass chessboard look
awfully deliberate.
No, it is ridiculous. What possible significance can it have?
It's part of a chessboard, and the gaps are for...
Senor Stobart, you cannot mean...
This place was built for the Templars. Your chess set is as old as the Templars. It's kind of suggestive, isn't it? I think this must be it. This is what the manuscript is pointing to.
This is extraordinary. Am I to understand that the Templars left a puzzle here?
I'm going to struggle with this puzzle, aren't I?
We failed to realize that there was a puzzle.
It was wonderful to watch the Countess change before my eyes.
Right. Well, no time for wallowing in self-pity, eh, Senor Stobart? This mystery has had a good long run, but it ends here and now.
All those years of fatalism were falling away from her.
Lopez! Lopez! Put that hose down and listen! Go to the house and get my chess set. Yes, the old chess set!
She actually seems really happy by this, which is nice.
My, this is exciting, is it not?
Don't get too excited. This could be a blind alley.
Oh, I do not believe that for a moment.
It's good to see you happy.
Happy? You know, I think I am.
While we're waiting, I'd really like to know what happened here. I mean, the curse and everything?
It all began at the time of the dissolution of the Templars. Don Carlos had already left their ranks to become a scholar.
Don Carlos? Is he the guy who went missing?
Si, but he had reckoned without the local bishop. Their bishop envied us our land and determined to use the papal edict as an excuse to destroy us. Don Carlos was on one of his scholarly journeys when the Inquisition arrived. When Don Carlos returned, it was to find his loyal manservant slain and his children gone.
They took the kids? But why?
Oh, we will never know. The bishop denied all knowledge of the children's disappearance. But witnesses had seen his men kill the servant who had been charged to protect them.
What happened to Don Carlos?
He swore he'd find his children if he had to go to the edge of
I'm not going to find some children down here. Like,
sword and shield
they
and rode
didn't
out
hide
alone.
them in here and then not go back for them.
He was never seen again. Ah, Lopez, you have the pieces.
Si, my lady, as you asked.
Por favor, Senor Stobart, would you be so kind?
My lady.
Calm yourself, Lopez. I believe Senor Stobart's motives are pure.
Very well, my lady. My lady seems to trust you.
But you don't.
No, senor.
Okay. Let's see if we can figure out this puzzle. I'm assuming I'm gonna...
Senor Stobart, it fits.
Working quickly, I found which pieces went into
Okay, I don't have to do the puzzle then, that's something. Oh, okay, yes I do. Okay. So that could go there. Oh, do we need to do that? Blue, green, red. No, it's not right. That one, I think. So that was blue, red, green. That one. Come on then. Green, blue, red. That one. So that's blue, green, red. That one. No. That's green, red, blue. That's green, red, blue. I think that one goes there. So that's red, blue, green. That one by power of deduction. Green, blue, red. Green, blue, red. Blue, red, green. That one then.
With the red pieces in place, the square bases fit onto the white pieces. I just had to figure out where to place them.
I'm going to work on the assumption that it's checkmate for the king. So would you say that that one sort of goes... No, okay. Ah, right, okay, I'm assuming they can't be taken then, so... That goes there then, right, okay. And I'd guess that one goes... No, okay. Must be they can't be taken by any piece on the board, is what I'm assuming. Because that one can't be taken by anything there. So I won't put that one there, but it doesn't want to go there. I don't know why that one goes there, but it does. Really? Am I going mad? I'm sure I've tried all the pieces, unless this isn't going. It goes in the black spaces somewhere. Yeah, it's not right either. Okay, I can move these around anywhere then. Right, okay. So, okay, so you can go that way. You must be the king, so the queen can get you there.
Bingo. I mean, checkmate.
I don't know how that's checkmate, but okay. More luck than judgment, that puzzle, guys. The second part of it, anyway.
Senor Stobart, look!
What is that? It's not the Holy Grail, is it?
No, Senor Stobart. It is the communion chalice of the De Vasconcelos, missing for almost 700 years.
Wow. Well, go on.
I cannot. I can hardly believe it is real.
Go ahead. Live a little.
Are you sure? This is your moment of triumph, Senor Stobart.
Oh no, it's definitely your moment.
I'm sure.
Most definitely it's her moment, isn't it?
The possibility of death traps only occurred to me a few days later.
So the curse of the De Vasconcelos is lifted?
Oh no. The Countess was thrilled to find the lost chalice. But there's still the riddle of the missing knight.
Well, you can forget about that now and get back to finding the Templar's secret.
Actually, I promised the Countess I'd find Don Carlos.
You what?
I can explain everything.
You have got the odds for a withered old Spanish aristocrat?
Don't you get jealous, you can't have a go at
entrusted
me.
With the chalice and the quest for her ancestor's tomb.
You're as crazy as she is. Haven't you got enough problems? Khan and the Templars?
It's all part of the same thing. The chalice is important, I'm sure. The manuscript pointed us to the knight, and I have to find him.
What then?
I don't know. But when the knight and the chalice are reunited, maybe I will. This is the chalice I discovered in Spain.
I still can't figure out why the Countess gave it to you. After losing it for all those years, she simply gave it away to a total stranger? She's one prawn short of a paella.
The Countess is a fine lady. You shouldn't compare her with seafood.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on between you and that Countess.
Why is she
you
getting
serious?
jealous now?
She's old enough to be my grandmother.
I'll look like at the manuscript again because I really don't see the point. I doubt.
That is not a good idea.
Yeah, so I don't think there's anything useful there.
I'd better get back to the quest.
I mean, do I think it's the museum? Although the museum has appeared now. I'm sure it was blocked off before. Let's talk to Lobino. Show him the tripod.
Andre.
That'd be funny.
Hello, Georgie.
What do you make of this cup, Andre?
It's a 14th century communion vessel. Spanish, probably.
That's all we get him.
Thanks for your
Marvelous.
help, Andre. You're welcome.
Okay, there's no point in being there anymore, I don't think. I mean, I think it's got to be a modifier.
Excuse me, officer. What does this chalice suggest to you?
Wine.
I'll
Good
see
man.
you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
Well, he says there, but it's actually the subtitles are here. I'm just wondering if I can talk to this guy, whether he will recognise the chalice or be able to say something about the chalice. That is my thought.
Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
What do you make of this chalice?
It certainly looks very old.
About as old as this church, I think.
There seems to be an
Hey
engraving on
Jess.
it.
Hey Jess.
What
Welcome
does it
back.
say?
I do not know. It is
Have you
very
finished streaming
tarnished.
now? Have you?
With your permission, I could try polishing it. I promise I will be very careful.
Did he stream? I have no idea what the guy just said. I'm going to say yes.
That'd be very good of you.
This shouldn't take very long. Feel free to look around.
Okay, thanks. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it.
Jess, we're doing okay. We've had a few moments where I've just been sort of wandering around aimlessly, not really getting anywhere.
I
But
didn't recognize the biblical
I do
story.
sort of feel like I've got to
I
a
was
point
a
now.
Sunday school dropout.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit stuck again now.
The priest was still busy with the chalice, so I decided to have another look.
Okay, so let's have a look at stuff around the church then. I know what I need to do because I need to get into the manhole out on the street.
I wondered if this guy had died in combat. A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work.
I doubt looking at this is going to make any difference to me whatsoever.
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. A scholarly
Yeah,
knight.
we've heard that about 1,000 times, so that's no different.
A knight there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess.
Okay, in my inventory, I have some plaster. I have a picture of Merlin, or the killer, red nose, the greasy tissue, the hand shocker, the tripod, the gem, the Merlin's ID from electronics, matchbook, and the thing. You missed the goat. You missed the goat, Jess.
I didn't have time to sit around.
I'm really sorry. You missed the wonderful goat.
Than its neighbor.
That was right at the beginning of the stream.
In comparison to its neighbor, it looked pretty plain.
I mean, there's nothing else I can do. I've looked at everything in here.
Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported. The priest was still...
Okay, I mean, I'm going to try exiting because I think I've looked at every single thing there is in here. Go out, she says. Yes, boss. 3 bags full, boss. I mean, he has nothing useful to say at all. I've asked him about 1,000 questions.
Hello again, monsieur.
Yes, I can't speak to him again.
I'll see you around.
I've spoken to the clown, Jess. We have spoken to the clown, and I failed at juggling.
Hey, you with the balls.
And the answer to your question, wifey, is I don't know.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Le Templier? Ah, the last grandma on an island.
Wow.
No, monsieur.
Yeah, he said the same thing several times to me.
It didn't seem right to fry somebody. Does this plaster...
Well...
Forget it. Forget... Does this grease paint me...
It looks like one of mine.
Or a clown?
Me natural.
Hardly a breakthrough. This gadget is... I do not want... Oh, I'm not selling it, I just wanted your opinion.
It is hardly my area of expertise.
I've said about the I've said about the nose before, and he says that are you a clown?
Are a clown?
A clown?
No. If so, you would be a much better jongleur.
For a moment, an idea capered around near the spotlight of my attention, but fell down the pothole of abstraction before I could
Actually, Jess, while you're here, can you tell me why my alerts from Stream Elements for my redemptions are not playing? The alert box is live, it's in here, and I'm pretty sure it's correctly associated, but it's just decided that it doesn't want to work. It's just not picking it up at all for some reason. Yeah, I can't understand why it's suddenly decided it doesn't want to work. But you know, so is my life. Nothing seems to want to work the way I want it to work here. I'll reassign it, see if that works, but I doubt it. I can show you your stream elements later. I'll have to do something maybe after the stream. But like I say, there's nothing I can do to talk to this guy at the moment, so... I don't know whether I need to go back in and speak to the guy in there again, because I genuinely don't think that's going to make a difference. I'm going to try and leave in the area, because I don't think that's going to get me anywhere. The nose is important. Well, I've showed him that I've spoken to him about the nose. And night, babe. Night. There's nothing at the museum. I don't think there's anything to do there. Okay, so I've got nothing there. I know where I'd like to put it. I mean, the only place, Jess, I could think, the only thing I can think of, Jess, to put the nose is put the nose on this weird statue, on him. Yeah, that'll be right. I mean, this is the only thing I can really interact with, is him. I mean, yeah, I was gonna say, if he actually did that, then so you actually mean put it on the clown outside. Right, okay, alright. God, this chat's getting so bossy. Jeez.
Hey, you with the balls.
Oui?
Look, a red nose.
Ah, you are a clown.
A clown?
No, if so, you would be a much better jongleur.
For a moment, an idea capered around near the spotlight of my attention, but fell down the pothole of abstraction before I could focus on it.
That didn't work.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Yeah, because normally you get that the cogs, so that's something you can interact with.
The priest was still.
I might go back and try it on the manhole. That's the only thing I haven't done. I just can't figure out anything else. Because like I said, I can interact with this thing, but obviously not interact with this thing at the moment. I've tried the tripod. That didn't work. I've tried that with everything else. Let's electrocute it. No. Right, I'm gonna go with your basis that you think it's to put it down on the manhole or something. He's actually doing it. Oh no, he's not.
I couldn't open it with my bare hands.
Hey, you! What the... You stay...
Okay, so we've tried that several times. Maybe it's just maybe I just can't do it at this moment. Maybe I'm gonna have to go away and come back. It's annoying me because put it in the dude's drink. I could try putting it in the dude's drink and see where that gets me. I can't say I'm very optimistic that'll work, but you know, stranger things have happened, I guess. Yeah, I genuinely don't know. So okay, I'll try and interact. I'll try and interact with it. Okay, give me a sec.
Excuse me, officer. Does this red nose mean...
No, I can't interact. I can't interact with it.
Clown?
No. Although you juggle like one. Now, if I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing. And not a humiliation for you.
What do you mean?
Jess, I think we're on something here.
Clown.
He had a point. So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur.
Okay.
Does this red nose mean anything?
No.
Okay, so I've done that now. That doesn't seem to have done anything for me particularly.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
Okay.
Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
Can I try juggling
I'd like
again?
to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, perhaps.
No, I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing...
To be fair, I find it really awkward to ask for another man's balls.
Okay, now for my secret weapon.
Oh, so much better. Yay!
The juggler was speechless with rage. You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls and left in a fury. Hey! You forgot one of your balls! Hey! But he didn't hear. Better still,
he left the ball.
The gendarme decided maybe
Got a rogue ball, everybody. Aha, and the gendarme has left as well, so I should be able to get into here now. Thank you, Jess. There we go. See, you were right. It was definitely something to do with the nose. Oh, hello. This is interesting. Right, I'm going to be honest. It is getting quite late, and we've got to a point where we can move on. So, I think now would be a good time to probably end the stream. So, I'll move over to my other screen. So, thank you very much for joining. I do really appreciate you guys being with me tonight and suffering with me and getting this done. And thank you, Jess. There we go. She knew it was something to do with the nose, so she helped me out to get me past that point. So yeah, that was a success.